Welcome once again to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. For the last time tonight, I am Knoxweiler Burf, your game master and your guide through a dark and challenging world of survival horror. As we do every Tuesday evening, we are playing Outbreak Undead. This game is not for the faint of heart, and I, as your game master, have confirmed consent with each and every one of my players. Our lines and veils have been very carefully drawn, and we have safety protocols in place to assist and protect everyone at the table. We ask you for your consent as well, and we encourage you to read very closely the warnings that will be offered to you. This game offers us the opportunity to explore dark themes and to shine a light on the human condition in the safe confines of our imaginations, but that takes bravery. And it also takes the support of each and every one of us, you included. There are no magical swords to be discovered in this world, no valiant knights or castle walls to hide behind. The world is different. This world holds many secrets that we're going to share with you. It is a civilization on the edge. Still, in the greatest darkness, hope burns the brightest. We're going to show you a little bit of that as well. I would like to thank both JB Jara and Alex Hillman for their endless support during this campaign. The entire Hunters team has helped us to make it happen, and we wish to express to them our undying gratitude. If you haven't already, you still have a chance to sign in to the Scry program in our panels below. There you're going to be able to engage with the communities of our world quite directly. You can take on the role of a survivor yourself and help to divert resources and goods to where you think they are needed most. While this is our final session for a short while, we don't want you to feel that the Scry program will not be returning. Anything that you do will have repercussions. We're excited for what is coming in the near future. Our tireless Undead moderators are currently in the chat, and they're prepared to help you by answering any questions that you may have. They're here to support your efforts, and we ask you to please give them the respect they so richly deserve. If you enjoy this content, of course, there's no reason not to make noise on social media for us and to help us to grow. Just because Rag and Bone is coming to an end, that doesn't mean that our story is finished. If you haven't already, you can join into our Discord and you can connect with others who enjoy this particular brand of Dark Ride. Enough of all of that, however. Allow me to introduce you to the players in tonight's little nightmare. Markia, would you like to talk a little bit about yourself? I would ask that you not talk about your character quite yet.
Fair enough. Hi, everyone. I'm Markia McCarty. I am a voiceover actor, producer, and also marketing manager for Hunters Entertainment in general. I just want to, for anyone who doesn't know, we did launch our Kickstarter today for Exquisite Crime, a surrealistic psychic detective storytelling game where crime is an art and you are the artist. So if you want to check that out during the ad break, heartily recommend it. Otherwise, this is the final week of Halloween, and my podcast and horror video channel, Something Scary, has a very special guest who has narrated a story for us for this Halloween episode podcast, Tanana Reeve-Dew, who is a Black horror icon. And if you don't know her, you need to read her and watch her. And she also teaches classes and online and everything. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Markia McCarty. That's MarkiaMcCarty. Here on Darth and TikTok. Here on Twitch and TikTok, it's Darth Markia. And for our Facebook people, it's Markia TV. So yeah, that's me. But nothing about my character tonight.
Luis, would you like to talk a little bit about everything that you do on the internet?
But not my character, yes.
But not your character quite yet.
I gotta tell myself that. Hi, I'm Luis Carrazzo. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, by just putting my name together, first and last name. I'm an actor primarily. I do TV, film, and commercials, and I've done stage. And I would do it in LA if it was more lucrative in LA. But yeah, last season I was on SWAT, a couple episodes, and I was on NCIS. There's another show that should be coming out early 2022, which I'll let everybody know once I can. Um, and my favorite commercial that I've ever shot is running right now, which is the Star Wars one where I'm a Jedi for Disney's Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel. But it was just super fun to shoot, and it felt like I was a Jedi and shooting a movie, and wish I could just do that all the time. But that's some of the stuff I do. Um, and I was nines on LA by Night, and I can't wait to experience this what we're doing tonight, which I can't talk about yet.
You cannot. No.
So that's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you, Louise. We have two special guests with us, two talented performers who have joined us time and time again on the Rag and Bone stage, and we're very grateful for them both. Let's start with Sarah. Sarah, would you like to talk a little bit about everything that you do across the internet, but not your character?
My character. I got it in here. Yes, absolutely. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a D&D and TTRPG content creator on the internet. You can find me pretty much anywhere under the handle Sarah is Coffee, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. In terms of places you can find me on the internet, that is not the wonderful place that is here. You can find me over on the Welcome In on Fridays, playing in the consistent campaign Off the Rails as Restrada, who is an Oath of Redemption paladin. And you can find me over on Total Party Kiss on Saturdays, playing the horror campaign Strange Hungers, which has just started. It's about to be on episode 3 this week, so you can get right in on the beginning. And that's me.
Thank you again for being with us. Last but certainly not least, Omega, would you like to talk about all the wonderful things that you do on the internet, but not your character?
Gladly. Hi, my name is Omega Jones, also known as the Critical Bard, Critical Bard across all social media channels, including that clock app called TikTok. I am a professional actor and vocalist, mostly a musical stage actor, but haven't done that because of this Panda Express. I'm also a tabletop professional. I've worked with many different companies, many different places, including this awesome community here. You can hear my voice with Critical Role if you ever watch Critter Hug, which is their signal boosting show hosted by Mika and Matt. I created the jingle for that. I've been everywhere. Too many things to honestly name, but I'll name a couple. Mondays, you can catch me on Into the Mist, which is the Curse of Strahd campaign with the Realmsmith. Wednesdays, you can catch me on Dice Ex Machina over on Saving Throw Show, which is a Theros-based D&D game. Fridays, you can catch me on Rock Punch ATL's channel for Tampo, which is a Islands of Sina Una campaign, D&D campaign, and many, many other things. That's me, I think. I think that's
very good. Tonight, we do have a special Q&A planned for all of you. It is our way of thanking you for your vigilance and your support throughout this entire year. For 1 year, during some of the darkest times that any of us have known, we have created a campaign together, and we have shared in a story that has developed in front of all of you. You are a part of that, and we want to give you the opportunity to connect with us directly and to answer any questions that you may have. We're very proud of Rag and Bone, and we're very, very grateful for the opportunity to bring it to life amongst all of you. So please, after we're finished here, we would ask that you stay with us, a little later than usual perhaps. Ask questions, get involved, and know that the dead do not lie easy. We'll be right back. The world stood on the edge of a knife in late August 1969. In the United States, revolution was spreading across the country, and the old wounds of a broken system were boiling over as an unpopular war in Vietnam brought about protest and demonstrations. Science was making amazing advancements, and the future was being forged by inspired and challenged individuals from a generation that would elevate the American ideals beyond the state of inequality of the past. The world was changing quickly, and while the culture still had a long, hard road ahead, something new was on the horizon, and hope burned brightly. On a country road deep in the Pennsylvanian woods, a group of friends have gathered together to spend one last weekend together before the summer ends, and they spread out to the various winds of fate that scatter them to their futures in a new America. It is an America that is not yet aware of the nightmares that hide just beneath the surface of its metropolitan expanse and its technicolor cultural awakening. There are things growing in the darkness, waiting for the time to rise. And for this collection of young people, they're about to discover what hides in the woods at night and the horror that awaits those who stumble into the unknown places of the world. A wood-paneled station wagon rattles across a country road. There is gravel kicking under the wheels, and the Beatles play on the radio. The music fills the air. And a group of friends, scattered long ago but reunited for now, are crammed into this vehicle. Camping gear, bags, and other implements that will be needed for their journey have been stuffed on the top and inside of this car. At the wheel is Remy, Hot Hands Dunley. Would you please describe Remy to us, Markia?
Remy Hot Hands Dunley is a big, soft-hearted, very buff dude. He's dark-skinned, very tall, even for this station wagon. He is a sophomore, second-string quarterback for their college football team. He's majoring in communications and minoring in biomedical engineering, specifically imaging, because he wants to have the option to sell X-ray machines to hospitals if football doesn't work out.
Sitting in the passenger side seat is another young man. Alonzo, would you please describe yourself?
Yeah, Alonzo is also a sophomore, actually. But he attends Morehouse as a pre-med student. He's a little on the smaller side, tall, but definitely a little lanky. He's wearing brow-line glasses, actually very much akin to what I have on right now. Short hair, wearing a button-up, with some jeans. The button-up is tucked into his pants. Bottom cuff of the jeans rolled up just a little bit with some brown shoes. Might be going camping, but you still gotta, just look nice, I guess. Yeah, very skittish in a way, but he's definitely jamming to this music that he is slowly learning. Doesn't listen to lots of it, but when he does, he enjoys it.
In the back seat, 3 other individuals are seated together. Directly behind Remy is Kelly. Kelly, would you describe yourself, please?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sitting in the middle seat, definitely bopping her head along with the music in a very smooth kind of way, is Kelly Lang, a junior at the State College, University of Pennsylvania. She is fairly tall, a little lanky, has this auburn hair that just comes down completely unstyled, wears some very typical of the late 60s jeans and t-shirt with a vest over it and covered in freckles. And she does work at McDonald's, but she does not talk about it much. She doesn't like that she works there, but you do what you gotta do. And yeah, she is just very heavily vibing to the music right now and looking out the window as much as she can.
Next to Kelly is Matt. Matt, would you please describe yourself?
Sure. I'm Matt Cruz, and Matt is a quiet kid, and I think kid is appropriate because he's 19 years old, but on the late bloomer side and looks younger than his age, and hates it. He's sort of he's quiet. He's kind of a loner, a little bit awkward, a little bit self-conscious, and is wearing a sweatshirt, a really baggy sweatshirt, and he's maybe about 5'6", 5'7". He's the kind of little guy that will try to puff himself up a little bit to make him seem like he's a little bit taller. And dark hair, dark eyes, light brown skin tone, and still some remnants of teenage acne kind of around his face, and he's just kind of staring down at his shoes and is just very quiet along for the ride for now.
On the other side of Kelly Lang is a mousy girl with dark hair that is brushed off to the side. She's wearing a simple cotton dress and she looks out the window. This is someone that the rest of you are unfamiliar with, but Kelly has met over the course of the previous months, and it is her family's land that you're traveling to. Her name is Elizabeth. And she is also a student, but one that has found her way into this group through Kelly. And none of you are really familiar with much of anything about Elizabeth, and she's been fairly distant this entire ride, sitting in the back looking out at the woods as they pass by and the cornfields. Kelly, for your part, you know that Elizabeth is quiet, but she's also very intelligent, and she has written some beautiful poetry that you and some of your friends have read together under the trees of your school. You found that this girl needed more social acclimation, needed a way to meet new people, and when you began talking about your friends and about the endless summers that you would spend camping, uncharacteristically, Elizabeth began to talk to you about her family's land and about how beautiful and widespread it was, and how she would spend many, many nights out there on her own. And to you, it sounded like the perfect opportunity to both introduce Elizabeth into your group of friends, but also to bring perhaps Elizabeth out of her shell, and to secure a very inexpensive location for you and your friends to spend a weekend in the summer.
Amazing. Yeah, and as we drive down the road, Kelly, as the music still plays, takes the time to kind of elbow both Elizabeth and Matt just gently on the sides and say, "Y'all ready for another summer?"
Oh, Kelly, Hot Hands is always in for any adventure with all of you. Right, Matt? You ready to go into the what are the lands that you like? The lands of what are they called? Dormore? Go into the lands of Dormore together.
Remy, no, I don't want. Why?
We're gonna go to the volcano.
Dormore.
Don't know. All right. Door more. Jeez.
I'm pretty sure it's actually called Mordor, but if you want to say it wrong, then I guess I'll say it wrong with you.
No. I get tired of correcting them. So
Ah, yeah, I didn't catch that.
I
It is
get the
Mordor.
sense that Alonzo and Matt perhaps have bonded over a few popular novels, science fiction and fantasy being amongst them, yes?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's always cool to find someone else that's into the stuff that you're, into.
I mean, it's just light reading when I'm not studying.
I can't read when the car's going. It makes me sick.
Oh, I'm doing so you actually see that he has a notebook in his hand, and it's not like a book at all. It is totally like formulas and things of that nature, looking at different equations, just trying to get it in his head. But he every now and then he closes it, but for the most part, it always opens right back up.
The music is interrupted on the radio as all of you drive through this abandoned road, deeper and deeper into the woods. The cornfields have sort of fallen away, and you're at that point where the hills and mountains of Pennsylvania sort of hang in the horizon around you on either side, and the woods hug you as the leaves and the branches reach out. And it's still early afternoon. There is a bright sky above you, and clouds, white and fluffy, flow through the air, and the sun is shining brightly. It's warm. The windows are down. There's no air condition in this car. It's blowing through, and Alonzo, you're fighting to keep the pages held down from your book as you study. Matt, you have a weird science magazine that has been fluttering now in one of the seat-back pouches now for about an hour. And Kelly, your hair has been fluttering back and forth, and you've been kind of pulling it just so that it doesn't whip Elizabeth and Matt in the face over and over again. Remy, you've been driving now for the past 3 or 4 hours, and the radio hasn't had any news broadcasts, but one does break through. It speaks of protests across the United States. It talks a lot about the Vietnam War and everything happening outside of your little bubble, about a youth culture that has decided that they weren't going to take what was given to them any longer and make choices for their own. Additionally, though, there's a news broadcast about a series of killings in San Francisco. They're calling the murderer the Zodiac Killer, and it's marring the country. There are fears that are rising. It was just a few months ago that a group known as the Manson family killed Sharon Tate. The radios and the televisions are now ablaze with interviews with her husband, a famous film director known as Roman Polanski. There's something in the air in 1969, and all of you are acutely aware that something is happening, and it isn't very good. But Remy, as you drive, you see a number of hand-painted signs to the right and left of the road, advertising Last Stop Gas. It's crude, rough, aged as if it had been there for 20 years without being touched, but you're not certain if Last Stop Gas is the name of the gas station or a warning. The mile markers on each sign count it down from 3 miles to 2 miles to 1. What do you do?
Hey, everyone. Why don't we do a pit stop real quick? Let's go ahead and top off old Betty, and let's go ahead and stretch our legs before we get into camp. What do you think?
I mean, yeah. I can get some gas money. I got a couple bucks on me, so I'll throw in for this.
Matt.
Oh, come on.
Matt, you know I owe you. You know I do. We're fine, bud.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we know exactly how much longer we are going to have to be in this vehicle before we arrive at our destination?
Well, we'll just stretch our legs a little bit, at next gas station, try to get back on the road within the half hour, give or take. I don't know, we've got like a handful of hours. I don't really pay attention when it's like road trip time because that's a different kind of time, Alonzo.
It's really not that different. I mean, if you look at a clock, it has the same numbers and the same calculations as far as...
Just like that really smart dude says, time is subjective.
You good with stopping, Elizabeth?
My family's place isn't very far. We're only a few miles out. I know this gas stop.
Oh, so they've got good hotcakes there or anything?
I don't know. I never go in.
They probably have some snacks. We can get some snacks. I mean, I can get some snacks.
Definitely down for some snacks.
All right, so I heard a yeah for pit stop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we need gas, we should do it anyway, right?
You are edging closer and closer to an empty tank.
I meant to top off Betty before, but you know how it is sometimes. Particulars.
Road.
That road time, right, Alonzo?
Yeah. If they have any granola in there or something, I would love that personally.
All right, snacks and some rabbit food for Alonzo. Let's do this.
Old Betty rattles into the gas station. It is as crude and worn as the signs that have led you here. There are only 2 bare pumps and a small shack. Off in the distance, you see a building, dilapidated, with a roof caving in. It seems to be some sort of house that has been attached to this property. There is a bug light that is buzzing, just hanging over the overhang of the gas station building as it sits there. Old Betty rumbles into the station, and all of you see an old man sitting in a rocking chair. He's wrinkled and has a ball cap that is filthy and covered in grease. It's hanging down over his eyes. He's wearing a pair of overalls and no shirt. There are tattoos across his arm, and he looks up and spits tobacco onto the ground, smiling rotten teeth as he stands up and approaches the vehicle. Hey there, can I help you all out? Pump some gas for you?
Well, howdy. Yes, indeed. We're just gonna get out and stretch our legs a little more. Is that a convenience store that I see behind you, sir?
Yeah. You kids are looking for some supplies. I got plenty. You headed out camping? Is that Elizabeth? Elizabeth Hodge, are you back there? And Elizabeth looks up at the old man and sort of shyly waves. Well, shoot, I ain't seen you nor your family in quite some time. How you doing, girl? I'm fine. Thank you, sir. Are these your friends here? Yes, sir. Well, any friends of the Hodges are friends of mine, so come on in. Let's get you outfitted for your camping trip. You got all kinds of great gear here. Look at this tent. Fancy. I always just sleep out there, but I do what I can. Here, let me get that gas for you, son. And walks over and starts pumping gas and wipes down your windshield, spitting on it, rubbing it with an old red rag.
I feel very much taken care of. All right, let's pile out.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out too.
Well, I'm not gonna stand here by myself, but so yeah.
Elizabeth, you want me to bring you back something? You want to come in? I'm sure they've got jerky. Looks like a place that's got some good jerky.
I'm not allowed.
Into the store?
No, I'm not supposed to go into the store.
Is there something wrong with the store, or is it just Your parents said don't go into places that you don't really know.
That's what... That. I think they just don't want me to go places that I'm not safe. It's not that there's... Not that anything bad. Mr. Remington is nice. It's just... I'm not allowed. I'll be okay. I have an apple.
You
Okay.
gonna be okay out here by yourself? You want one of us to stay?
No, I'll just sit here. I'm sorry. I don't want to ruin the fun. I don't feel like I'm fitting in very well.
No, you get you know.
I mean-
You get used to it. I don't know. I guess I don't really feel like I fit in sometimes, but Remy always helps, kind of crack some jokes, and Remy's always done that to help me feel better about it. So you know what? You just stick around, and you're in good company here. So don't worry about it, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I mean, look at all of us. Like, none of us really technically fit in with each other, but we're here being friends.
Is it okay if I leave the radio on?
Yeah, go right ahead. No problem. I'll leave the keys in old Betty here.
I'm
You know
not
what? I
allowed.
call her old Betty because like Crocker, she's sweet as cake. You take care of her for me while I'm inside.
She smiles and turns up the radio, and a song is playing, and you can tell that she's not used to listening to music like this, and she's discovering it for the first time, and there's something that comes across her face as she listens to the music as all of you get out of the car, and the old man continues to kind of clean up the car and pumps your gas. You're free to do whatever you'd like.
So the convenience store has like supplies and things in there?
Do you go inside?
Don't set it up like that. Yes. He will go inside the store.
You step into the gas station, and as you do, there's a smell of old jerky. It's heavy and very pungent as spices and meat fill the air. There are large animal heads that have been taxidermied and placed across the wall. There are a series of small wooden shelves that are filled with both firewood and some other implements that might be of use to someone seeking a camping excursion. However, there's little in the way of modern conveniences here. There's an old 1950s icebox that rattles, and you can hear the condenser shuddering on the back of it. It sounds like tin cans rattling, and it's very dark in here. There's a counter on one side, and there are cigarettes and alcohol.
Okay. I want to. I'm honestly really not that hungry, but if they pick up some things, then he'll eat it. What have we brought with us as far as camping supplies versus what we have prepared to potentially get as we're out?
Are any
Brought
of
a
you
lot
holding...
of beer.
You have a lot of
Yes.
Iron City beer in the back of the station wagon, and
So
very little
sad, my
else.
dude.
Is it plausible that, because I'm willing to definitely try to get some stuff here too, but is it plausible? I mean, I think it is, but is it plausible that I came with a little bit of first aid supplies just in case anything went awry? You know, someone got a cut or something or a bruise while they're out here.
Absolutely. I believe that Alonzo is the type of pre-med student that would always be prepared, especially when going into the woods. I think that a first aid kit makes a lot of sense. However, there are some items here that might be of use, although very few of them are modern packaged foods.
Okay. I would like to see if they have like any not rope, but like a gauze or something like that that might be useful if it's out here. And I'm also eyeing that alcohol, not for consumption purposes.
Well, if you're looking for alcohol, there are a number of very powerful grain alcohols that are on the shelf behind. Some of them are not labeled, but they have a bit of masking tape on them with notes that are written in an indescribable pen. And there are cigarettes, Lucky Strike, unfiltered, And there are, again, a few cases of beer, but none of them have been chilled and are not in the refrigerator that's being very loud. That is still closed.
Okay. To let other people do some things, I definitely am looking at that grain alcohol. I'll grab that for sure and bring it up to the front. And if I see anything else, like again, like gauze or something like that, then I will grab that as well.
There is no gauze, but there is rope.
I'll grab the rope. Rope will be fine.
Kelly, are you inside the store or are you outside of the store?
Yeah, Kelly definitely piles in, sees what Alonzo is doing, sees the grain alcohol, points and says, "Good looking out," and then kind of just makes her way across the rest of the store looking for snacks.
He totally realizes the meaning of that statement way after the fact.
Kelly, you make your way towards the back, and there is a small bulletin board that is here, and there are notes and things that have been pinned onto it. Most of them look like they've been hanging here for at least 10 or 15 years. The paper is curled and aged and yellowed, and you notice a number of advertisements for farming equipment, for lumbering equipment, for trucks and vehicles. But you notice a handwritten note. It says, "Missing, Tommy Hodder, aged 10, last seen near Grey Ridge."
Is Grey Ridge the land that we are currently on?
It is the land that you're headed to.
Cool. Are either Matt or Remy anywhere close around me at this moment?
That's up to Remy.
Yeah.
I think Remy pulled Matt into a very congenial headlock and pulled him into the store.
So the two of you are close by.
Kelly will just look back and be like, "Yeah, check it out. Creepy."
I'd like to check it out, but I kind of can't move my head. Remy?
Yeah, fine. You're fine. There you go.
One of these days I'm going to get bigger than you.
Hey, I'm looking forward to that day, my little dude.
Mm-hmm. Where the Snickers? I completely feel super embarrassed right now that Remy is. I know Remy's trying to be playful, but I'm not in front of other people, especially people I don't know that well, and he's just bolts around the corner and is trying to find a Snickers bar.
There are no Snicker bars anywhere at this location. However, you do find beef jerky of various types that have been shoved into boxes and jars and bags. There is also a jar of pickled eggs that is filled with a purple water, and also a number of other strange, murky jars that hold what look like severed pig's feet.
He chuckles to himself and he gets the pig's feet, and he's gonna put it in his hoodie, in his sweater pocket, and then we'll see what happens with that stuff later.
To be clear, are you shoplifting right now?
Not trying to shoplift, but trying to hide it.
All right. You're concealing it to try to surprise someone with it.
Maybe.
All right. So it's in one of your jacket, and your jacket kind of hidden. It's a fairly large jar. So
I'm gonna put it underneath my whole sweater.
Sure. It's a little obvious, but you have managed to conceal it.
Kelly, this poor little dude. Just 10 years old.
That's the land that we're heading towards, right?
Yeah, we're camping near Grey Ridge.
Should keep an eye out.
Supposed to be really good camping.
Nice.
A lot of space. I brought some athletic stuff with me. I'm gonna build some muscle in all of y'all. It's gonna be good.
You know what? I prefer to build my muscle up here, but it is appreciated.
Hey, you know where the game starts? It starts up here and comes down to here.
It's very impressive. I am excited to kill some brain cells tonight, though.
Oh, I have everything you would need, Kelly. And then Remy goes to put you in a headlock. Is sorry, I forget sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I feel like how tall is Remy?
Remy's tall. He's over 6 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a sophomore.
Kelly's relatively tall, like 5'11", so I feel like the headlock is a little like weirder to get into, and then it's like, oh fuck, you know. Let's find something to eat.
How about this? Boom, jar of pig feet.
What, Matt? How'd you find that?
What? It's like right around the corner. I was looking for Snickers bars and they had this thing, and like, you know what? I'm taking it. We're all gonna eat some pig feet tonight. How much is this? I say to the clerk.
There is no clerk here. The old man is finishing up filling your gas, and there's a register there with a note in a basket, and it says, take what you need, leave what you can.
I was about to say, Alonzo was definitely just waiting up there, kind of just, help, need somebody, help, just waiting,
Alonzo.
and then finally realized that there's a note here this entire time. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. And I'll toss some coins up there. It don't cost that much. So
It is 1969. $1 is a lot of money.
Yeah. He's gonna be about it. I mean, and it's also grain alcohol. Yeah, he'll put $1.
Right.
He'll put $1.
Big spender. Look at you, Alonzo.
Ooh.
No, I just I intern at my college, and I just had a little extra, and I thought that we should have some things to be prepared if we're going to be out in the wilderness.
Yes, the great wild. All of us relying on ourselves, our muscles, and each other. It's gonna be amazing. Best summer ever.
Best summer ever.
And Remy's like grabbing jerky, and I couldn't find any granola for you. I think they only have people food here.
That's fine. I mean, granola is people food. You know that, right?
But they do have like they've got pickled eggs. That's pretty close to granola, right?
When you are someone who studies pathogens and viruses, you see a lot of stuff, and then you see other things that remind you of that stuff, and you want to stay away from that stuff.
That's a lot
The
of stuff.
eggs or the juice?
Both?
No, eggs are amazing. I have half a dozen eggs every morning. It's like it's good protein for you. Sometimes I just do the egg whites. Other times I'll do like a half and half kind of a thing. And it's, Alonzo, you gotta lean into people food sometimes.
This young man right here knows exactly what he's talking about. Eggs are a wonderful source of protein. And the old man kind of jostles back in and walks across the space in front of all of you.
You fine. Then if we want some pickled eggs, and he will go back over and grab the pickled eggs and stare at them for a long time, probably longer than he should, and then he walks over. I will get the pickled eggs too.
The old man gets behind the counter. Well, the gas is going to be $1.50. You were darn near on empty. How many eggs you want? And the old man opens up the top and sticks his arm in about elbow deep and pulls out a handful of eggs.
I'll take 3.
Okay.
I'll take 3 of them. That'd be good. Anybody else want one?
Yeah, I'm gonna take 3. Just yeah.
The old man starts like putting eggs into a brown paper bag and rolls it up and sets it with like the juice kind of leaking out onto the counter in front of all of you.
I mean, we could have.
These are gonna break.
How many eggs was? How many eggs were in the jar?
Oh, you want the whole jar?
No, I'm just asking how many are in there.
Oh, I ain't counted in about 5 or 6 months. It's probably close to, I don't know, 3 dozen.
How long have the eggs been in there?
Oh, you want them to pickle for a good long time. I don't know if you know much about pickling eggs, but way my mama taught me how to do it, we keep it up here on the shelf in the sun for as long as possible.
You know, 6 it is. I think unless Kelly, you wanted some.
You know what? Make it 7.
7
All right.
it is.
Dips the hand back into the jar, not so deep this time, grabs a floating egg and puts it back into the bag. Handles everything, gives it all to you, checks you out. Some noise money is spent.
Also some kettle corn and some strike anywhere matches. Yeah.
I ain't got any kettle corn, young man, but I have plenty of matches. And I got, are you doing any hunting or fishing or anything?
I did bring a fishing pole with me to see if anybody wanted to get some fishing in. I have that. I've got, I brought other Old Betty, which is my baseball bat, and a couple of gloves for, these guys right here. They're gonna hang out and do some sports with me.
You got this.
Yeah, brought my football. We're gonna have a good time.
Oh, well, that's real good. You're gonna want some night crawlers, I'd imagine, for that fishing trip. So here you go. It's on me. Don't worry about the cost of this. I want you all to have a good time here, and you're with the Hodge family, so you're a friend of mine. And puts out a container. It's an old tin can full of dirt and worms.
Oh.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Remington. That's so nice of you.
Yeah, they just call me Edward. Just call me Ed.
What about like firewood? Do we have enough of that of firewood, or do we need a little more of that? I mean, that's really all I want to. Kind of just want to look at the fire.
Did y'all bring an axe?
I think did. You got all the physical stuff, Remy? Did you bring the axe?
I did. I brought an axe. I brought an axe and a shovel, just in case we needed to make a fire pit.
Maybe we should get another axe, just in case, just in case.
Oh, I ain't got an axe here. I just knew that if you didn't have one, you're definitely going to want to buy some wood now, because otherwise you're going to have a hell of a time chopping it down with your baseball bat.
Oh, no. We should buy some wood, because I know that Remy's going to put us to work, because that's going to build muscles, and I don't really need to do that.
You know how good you're gonna feel when you're in front of a fire that you built with your own hands and you got the wood of?
No.
I mean, technically, we would have gotten the wood ourselves from here.
That's true. That's gonna make me feel really good.
You know what?
We'll take one bundle of wood.
Let's go ahead and buy wood for the first night.
All right. Well, let me get you all checked out then and get you back on your way. You take care of little Elizabeth. She's a smart one. First one in her family to ever go off to college. That's a big thing around here. We're farmers mostly. We kind of stick out here and don't do much studying, but it looks like y'all are good people. Glad you're taking care of her and glad you're here.
Absolutely, Edward.
That's just Ed.
Ed.
Yeah, Ed.
Have a good day.
You too. You
too,
young
nice
lady.
To meet you. Thank you so much for filling up our old Betty, as Remy says.
Oh, Betty, yeah. Pleasure's all mine. Now, y'all be careful out there. And he spits this wad of tobacco onto the floor of his shop, and you just hear a wet splat from behind the counter.
We head on out. Back to the car.
You head out, and the doors are all open. And Elizabeth is standing on the side of the road, looking out into the woods. In her hand is a dead rabbit.
I got it. Sorry, gang.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. And Kelly goes to investigate, walks up, and kind of says, "Hey, Elizabeth."
Kelly, you get closer and closer. Elizabeth is standing there. Her simple cotton dress is smeared with blood, and you see the rabbit more clearly now. Its organs have been forced out of the fur. Like a strange flower, it has blossomed, and it falls out in a waterfall down to the ground at her feet. The small and large intestine undulates still and pulse with life. You see a slight twitching in the creature. It seems to have been hit by a car recently, and is still alive. It's
Elizabeth,
barely moving.
what are you doing?
It's hurting. It was hit. I don't want it to hurt.
There's not really much that we can do about that. Did you see it get hit, or?
No.
I would just be careful. We don't know what kind of diseases and bacteria might be on that.
The girl turns, holding the roadkill in her hands, facing all of you. You all see now what she's holding, and the blood is flowing across her.
Oh.
Damn.
Wow. This is kind of gross.
You know,
Let's.
I'm all for, only killing what you're going to eat and, eating what you kill kind of a thing, but you don't know was on the tires of whatever hit, that rabbit, and I think maybe you should just put it down, Elizabeth.
I saw a shovel in the back. Can we bury it?
Yeah. We can, I mean, I never had a rabbit as a kid. I had a picture of a hamster that I used to talk to, and, it was just like having a pet at a certain, in a certain sense. So I kind of get where you're coming from right now. Let me just grab the shovel real quick.
Yeah.
And
there.
let me go.
Still, I see you have a connection to the deceased, but I would urge you to at least place it down until we can give it the burial.
She looks to you and nods and sets it down on the ground. The paws are still just barely twitching, and there's a froth that's forming in the mouth.
Yep. As soon as I see that, I'm going to open up the alcohol that I just bought, and not run, but walk over to her and say, would you mind if I just clean you up a little bit?
Okay, I just want to make sure that it doesn't hurt anymore.
I understand. I do, but we don't know what. We just don't know, and I'm going to probably have like a handkerchief or something on me, and I will grab that and soak the handkerchief in the alcohol and just like start wiping her hands and at least the parts of her that are exposed, like her skin and stuff, that might now be covered in crimson because she picked up a dead rabbit.
Okay, this sounds like a roll. What would you like to bid, Alonzo?
First roll, cool. I mean, it's technically first aid, but it's more just trying to wipe something off of her. So, I mean, I go to first aid, but if you have a different thought, then tell me that different thought.
No, I think first aid fits here. Let's go ahead and have you make that roll, especially since you're trained in it, and have you do so with no dice of difficulty added. And I don't need a speed die or anything like that because we're kind of outside of an intention action.
Okay, but I still, just for my sake, I still click first aid, click and add 3 because I have 3 in my bonus, correct?
That's
Thank
right.
you.
That's because of the kit.
Yep.
5 degrees of success is a critical success, Alonzo. You are very good at these sorts of things. In fact, looking at the rabbit and looking at Elizabeth, you determine a couple of things. The rabbit is, in fact, rabid. It has rabies. However, the chances of it transferring to Elizabeth, unless she was bit, is fairly minimal. Cleaning her, however, is a very good idea. Luckily, this is very easily resolved, and you use the alcohol and you expertly remove any contagion that you think might be on Elizabeth or on anyone around Elizabeth at this point. You do so with a skilled and professional manner. As a pre-med student, you're very used to dealing with these sorts of situations, and you're very good at sanitizing things when needed and being improvisational in doing so.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm additionally going to give you 2 additional successes that you can use on your next medical roll.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Great, thank you. I'll just say, after I do that, you see like him like looking at what just happened, immediately goes to the car and starts disinfecting it while this whole thing starts to happen. He is going to disinfect this thing as much as possible till they get back.
Remy and Matt, what are you doing while this is happening?
Do we know that this rabbit was like? We saw what it looked like, but was it twitching? Did it look like it was still alive and needed to kind of be put out of its misery?
It does most likely need to be put out of its misery, or in a matter of minutes, it will probably die very painfully.
Remy is gonna has the bundle of wood that we just bought. Matt, and I'm gonna pull out one of them. And Matt takes like a deep breath, walks up to where the rabbit is lying, and stands there. And all right, little guy, I'm really, really, really sorry for what I'm about to do, but I know that this is the right thing. And stands there kind of paralyzed as he stares at this dying rabbit, trying to gather up the courage to strike it and put it out of its misery.
Remy's gonna come up behind him, and his big hand is gonna go on Matt's shoulder. He's like, "You're not alone, Dodo. Your Sam is here."
I don't know if I can do it, and it's Frodo. But I don't know. I don't know if I can. I gotta kill this thing, and I don't know if I have it in me to do it. And I just pass the piece of wood over to Remy.
I got you. And I got you, little dude. Sometimes we're dealt bad hands, and, we gotta just do the best thing that we can with those bad hands. And sometimes you gotta fold. And little dude, it's time for you to fold. I'm sorry this happened to you, little man. And Remy's going to put the rabbit out of his misery.
With a swift swing of the log, there is a wet, crunching noise as the skull of the small rabbit is crushed. One final jolt from its body and it stops moving. It lies there, dead. All of you are surrounding it. Alonzo, you are disinfecting old Betty. Elizabeth is crying quietly as tears roll down her face. She pets the rabbit and picks it back up.
No.
Whoa, Elizabeth, this, like I said, we don't know where the tires of all those cars have been. Just drop it into the shovel, and I'm gonna take that over, give it a proper burial, okay?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
She places it into the shovel spade. Still, tears rolling down her cheeks quietly as she looks to you, Kelly.
I kind of have my arm around her. It must have been terrible.
I felt it.
When you were holding it?
When I was in the car. Let's bury it and make it go home. And she starts walking towards a little pathway off into the woods by the gas station and looks back to all of you.
Kelly just kind of gives them all a shrug and follows after.
All right, well, I guess we should get this over with, huh?
You see Alonzo kind of like peek his head up. What's happening? Oh.
We're just burying the little dude.
You touched it again?
Elizabeth did.
And you start to mumbling to himself as you see like more alcohol like splash on the rag, and he like walks after her, not like swiftly, but like with the intention of giving her this rag.
I feel like Alonzo has a series of rags that he's gone through and has disinfected the entire vehicle in the time that the others were dealing with the rabbit. All of you now are gathering together. Matt, were you about to say something?
Yeah, so Elizabeth is off ahead and Kelly's gone to catch up, and Alonzo is starting to like run behind them. Matt like tries to catch up and kind of calls out to Alonzo, "Hey, wait!" And then just kind of gives up and approaches Remy as we start walking. Hey, look, I don't know how else to like kind of, I don't know, just rip off the Band-Aid on this thing, but and he pulls out a piece of paper and he hands it to Remy, and it's a draft card, and Matt has been drafted to go to Vietnam. I really want to make this trip really kind of special because I got a report.
Matt, man, this is impossible. You're in school. You couldn't be drafted unless you flunked out or you dropped out, and you didn't do that, right? Right, Matt?
I did. I don't know. I just wasn't really focused on this. I didn't like school. You know I never really liked it. I just kind of like went, I don't know what I want, and I got some really bad grades and stopped going. But I gotta get it together, and I need to get used to trying to like, I don't know, hurt things. But I just spent too much time afraid of being hurt and running away from people bigger than me, except for you. So you always stood up for me. But I don't know. I can't kill anything. I can't kill anybody, and I need you to help me tell the group.
Matt, man, I mean, there has to be something that we could do, though, right? I mean, there's gotta be something that we can do, or something that you can say to them, or maybe we get you in a different department or something.
Wow.
I don't know the army, and I don't know the departments, but there's got to be somebody that we can talk to. You can't just go over there, man. Not you.
My dad says that not to worry, that all they got to do is take one look at me and they'll know that I'm not going to do any good, and they'll send me right back home. But
hey,
I don't
your
think
dad's an asshole.
Yeah,
we know this.
We do.
I look at you all the time, and I know you'd have my back anytime.
I would try to do everything I can. I don't know how good that would be, but I want to tell Alonzo too. I mean, you two are, you're my friends, and I figured it was going to be one of us gonna have to go, but
You talk to me, man. I could have gotten you a tutor. Do you know how many chicks keep on being like, I want to tutor you, Remy?
Yeah, I count a lot. You got a lot of them.
And they're all real smart too. I'm sad right now, but I'm also mad at you, Matt. I know that doesn't help anything, but that's just how I feel.
I want to burn it.
Then they'll come after you. And then I'll get in trouble for like trying to take down army dudes.
Well, let's talk about this more later, because I don't really know what to do. I don't know. Let's go bury this rabbit, I guess.
You know what? We're gonna make this trip the best summer that we've ever had. We've known each other since kids. This will be the best summer camping trip ever. And when we come back, we will figure this out. There has to be something. There's always a paperwork or something that you can fill out And if you get back in school and I get one of like the smart chicks to like help you, we'll get Alonzo to pay her money and it'll be really good.
You can, I don't know, with the accent you write, maybe you can, like, I don't know, cut off like my pinky toe or something, and then maybe that'll be enough to get me out. Just kidding, don't do that.
If you need it, I'll do it.
Last resort.
Plus, Kelly's really smart. Maybe she can tutor you.
I think it's
She's
too late
always
for
been
that.
smart, and she thinks like in different ways and stuff.
Well, we can try. We'll ask her. Let's see what she says. And
Remy's been digging a hole during this time.
Remy, you and the others were just walking into the woods when
Okay.
this happened, and Alonzo, you're with them now.
I was going to actually say that I would have, while that conversation was happening, I would have caught up to Kelly while Elizabeth was a little further because she had walked in a little bit.
Yeah, she's ahead of all of you. She's ahead of all of you.
I was like, during that conversation, I think I was just kind of one tracked for a second. I would have saw Kelly and just said, "Hey, quick question. How did y'all meet?"
I mean, she's just in some of my classes. She writes some really beautiful poetry. Little sheltered, little shy, but nothing. And kind of looks over, remembering the words that Elizabeth just said. Nothing like too out of the ordinary.
I mean, she seems, we all have our strengths, and I'm sure she's pleasant to work with.
I mean, maybe she just really loves animals.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I'm just, there's a whole the flu happening in Hong Kong, and we barely over smallpox, and I don't know what that thing had rabies. It had rabies. I could tell. And I'm just, is she gonna continue to pick up every ounce of roadkill that we pass, or?
No, I'm sure she'll be fine. I'll make sure she's okay. It's still gonna be good. We're still gonna have a good trip.
Oh, please. Do you, I mean, we're all in school. School's it's rough. Like, I study a lot. I don't get to go out and have fun. That's not as much as I used to.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to center this around me. I'm just, I haven't seen y'all in a while, and I want this to be nice.
No, I get it. I know you're the busiest out of all of us, probably. But don't worry. I'm gonna take care of it. We're gonna get blitzed tonight, and we're gonna have a great time.
The group makes their way into the woods. Remy, you're the first on the scene with the shovel and the rabbit. Elizabeth is already here, on her hands and knees, and in a small clearing, she's already moved away a large number of dead leaves and debris. She's digging with her hands into the dirt, and she's singing to herself. Oh, children of the valley, walking hand in hand. Oh, children of the valley, walking across this land.
Hey, Elizabeth. Thank you for doing the startup work with it. And that's a pretty hymn. Like, Mom is big into church, so it's like I appreciate that. Let me finish up with the shovel though, okay? You spare those hands and your dress. We're gonna be getting dirty in the woods. It's just like it's what happens with camping, but no need to do it so early over this.
She looks at you. Her tear-streaked eyes meet yours, and she smiles weakly, looking at each of you. Thank you. I can't wait to show you. I can't wait to show you all. And we're going to take a short break. Welcome back to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Noxweiler Burf. I am your game master through Outbreak, Undead, Rag and Bone. A group of college-age kids have found themselves deep in the woods of Pennsylvania. If you are just now joining us, don't worry, you're just in time. This nightmare has just begun. After burying the rabbit and making your way down the road, away from Last Stop Gas and Ed, you've managed to gather some additional supplies. You've disinfected the entire vehicle and Elizabeth, but there is an uneasy quiet that rides alongside all of you now. Everything was jovial and fun up until now. Elizabeth, quiet is a little more than just strange. She quietly stares out the window and fidgets with an apple in her hand. What do the rest of you do as you're traveling to the campsite?
Matt's just quiet, keeping to himself and kind of half regretting confessing what is going on with him.
Do you still have the draft card in your hands?
Mm-hmm. It's in my pocket, and he's like, kind of has it clenched in his fist, in his sweater pocket.
What about Kelly?
Kelly is similarly quiet, but is just kind of, if she'll accept it, Kelly is kind of currently in deep denial that weird shit is happening with Elizabeth. And so if Elizabeth will accept it, it's kind of like leaning up against her to try to comfort her a little bit.
She is collapsed into your shoulder and is nuzzled closely to you. She's not crying anymore. She's just very quiet.
Yeah. Just have my arm around her and looking out the window with her as we drive.
In the front seat, what about both Remy and Alonzo?
I think Alonzo, you know how sometimes where even the best of music and the worst of situations can just make everything just feel wrong. So he shifts the dial from the Beatles, trying to actually find like a good old like news radio, just to hear what's happening, just to get some outside world back into this space, to remind us that, hey, we're living and we're here. We're gonna do something.
Wait, Alonzo, that was Jimi Hendrix. Turn it back.
No, one second.
Turn it back.
One second. Let me look.
Put back on Hendrix.
Alonzo, you land on a station that begins talking again about the Vietnam War and the drafting. There's an uncomfortable silence that grows on top of the silence that has already been present in the car. Do you continue to look for news radio, or do you turn it back to Jimi Hendrix?
Out of character, we're gonna fight. In character, he doesn't know anything that's happening back there. No, he'll listen for a second.
It talks about the state of the world and about the war that's happening overseas, about how unpopular it is and how the youth across the country have begun to revolt in their own rebellious ways. This, however, is a classic radio station, and they are very much on the side of law and order. It is clear that the hippies are despised, that these rebels and roustabouts mean nothing but the disillusion and the destruction of American values, that the war and the word of the president should be maintained, and that any that would be a part of the intentional removal of their part in this
Alonzo,
war.
why don't you put it back on the Jimi Hendrix?
Yeah, can you
stuff.
turn that shit off?
I got you. Remy puts it back on Hendrix.
I feel like Alonzo like reached and got his hand smacked. Like,
Thank God Hendrix does long songs.
The sounds of Jimi Hendrix play through Old Betty as the radio begins to crackle, and eventually all you hear is static as you go deeper and deeper into the woods. Shifting the dial, you find no news radio. You find no other music. You're out of range for any radio whatsoever. There's a crackle and a pop, but nothing else.
Remy turns off the radio. Yeah, that's how you know when you're in the good country, like the good camping sites. It's like we really get to just unplug and let our minds be free, work our muscles, and drink some beer.
I'm ready.
Yeah, hand me one.
There's a sign up ahead. You're gonna want to turn right. Remy.
Oh, you know this area well, right, Elizabeth? Your family's from around here. All right, all good.
It's the signpost up ahead. And sure enough, Remy, as you're driving, you see an old street sign, and it's been broken, and only the top of it, like a jagged post, is standing there, a piece of wood jutting up out of the ground near a shambled old farm fence that has old dead vines all around it. There is a deer skull that has been tethered to this post. Nothing else.
Remy turns right.
You turn right down the road, and old Betty begins to rumble and jostle as the road here is very rough.
All right, baby. Stay sweet as cake now.
I would like for you to make a drive check for me, Remy, as you continue down very difficult roads into the deep woods of Pennsylvania.
Okay, so this would be the, is that a navigation or,
There is, in fact, let's have you make...
I mean, if we're going into expert skills.
It's not necessary. Go ahead and make a navigation.
Okay. One degree of success.
You manage to maintain your course, and the vehicle is jostled, but it isn't pulled off of the road. You don't do any damage to old Betty. However, you're not able to make very good time, and it's starting to get dark by the time you pull into a large open area, and Elizabeth is now sort of perked up a little and is pointing in various spots for you to turn down tight, narrowing dirt pathways. Effectively, you've left concrete way behind you, and you've been driving for over an hour.
Elizabeth, is there like a specific spot, a camping spot that you know about? Is that why we're going so far?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the prettiest place to watch. It's this way. Turn right here.
All right. Remy turns right.
I'm not the best at it. I'm definitely not, compared to someone else. But this seems to be the most competent and sure that Elizabeth has been thus far, in the sense of like she's been kind of sketchy, for lack of a better word, and whatever, but she's very positive that she knows where she's going. Is there anything up with the way she's speaking?
Go ahead and make a sense motives. Or detect motives.
Just, to make sure. I don't have anything to this.
Alonzo, that's 5 degrees of failure. Do you wish to use any of your competency, or do you want to let that ride?
It's gonna let that. I mean, I'm not good at it. Let me just let that ride.
She is the sweetest, most innocent, frightened girl that you think you've ever met, and the fact that she's opening up is only a sign of how curative all of you have been, and how positive of an influence all of you have become. And maybe you, over the course of this weekend, can help to bring this young woman out of her shell and help her to become more confident, and perhaps teach her about sanitation and about the dangers of picking up wildlife.
Yep, that tracks. That tracks.
Turning down this road, you come to a large open area, as I was describing. It's a flat, open area with trees as far as you can see. There is a lot of hilled land all around you, and it's as if you're in the center of a valley. And the sun is beginning to set, and the sky is streaked with purples and oranges, and the air is so clear, and you can hear just the perfect sounds of the wilderness around you, the hum of bugs and insects, and the sense of life abundant all around you. As all of you exit the vehicle, it is a beautiful grove that you have been led into. And in the center, there are a series of small stone pits that have been dug out for fires and cleared land for tents and other implements to be set up so that you can enjoy your stay here.
Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this.
Yeah, you were right, Elizabeth.
Steered us right.
Yeah, this is... Wow, I'm actually glad we're here, and I'm stuck at a rest stop, picking up rabbits.
Guess we should get a fire going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, set up the tent.
I'm gonna pick up the wood that we got and start to take it over to where it looks like camp is.
All right, nice, Matt. You get that started. I'll race everybody else to set up the tents.
I'll take you up on that. And, yeah.
It's getting dark very quickly, and if you wish to get your tent set up before night falls, I'm going to need some rolls from each of you. Let's have everybody make a single lift pull, as what you're doing is physically exerting yourself to try to get your camp set up in time before it's dark. You each have a flashlight, and our friends in the ether have been generous, but not generous enough. You have batteries that will last you for a certain amount of time. Use them wisely.
Can I use athletic gear with Remy's setting up this tent? In the angle that I'm going for here is that he's very used to knocking things and to like hammering things and rope pulls to pull up like tents and putting things together. So would it be possible to...
I will allow it, yes.
And I also have +3 the tools. I'm used, it's a little different, but I'm used to handling, different things to put things together and
I will allow it as
things,
well. Yeah, both of those make sense for
question.
different reasons. And same for you, Kelly. Matt, do you have anything to contribute to this, or do you think that Matt perhaps is less than helpful in putting together the camp?
Nothing at all. He's looking at his friends and how good they are at everything and how much better they are at everything than he is, and he's just like dejected about it.
Is there any kind of modifier that we get with this? A multiplier?
Yeah, the multiplier should be ×2.
Okay. I also put a Gestalt into my lift pull, so it's actually a 39 just for reference.
Ooh.
All right.
Don't know if it'll help. It didn't. Oh no, it went in. Nice. Okay, good. Well, yeah.
All right, so in fact, Matt and Alonzo, the two of you work together and come up with a plan, which is more effective than anything else. All combined, you have 1 degree of success on this group action, which means that you do succeed in getting your tents up just as darkness fully falls over the woods, and you are in pitch blackness. This is a darkness that cannot be found anywhere near the city. There is starlight and moonlight and nothing else. You have yet to build a fire, and unless you wish to use the headlights from your car or your flashlights, you have no other source of light. What do you want to do?
Remy's going to use the headlights from the car so that, we'll rely on old Betty just a little bit more while we set up firewood.
All right.
I am going to roll a depletion die. Old Betty lights you and the area well for now.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, I'm just setting up the fire still. After helping with the tents and everything, I'm going to go back to setting up the wood and trying to get the fire going.
And while he's doing that specifically, I want to also get find some sticks, not supposed like some longer pole like sticks, to attempt to put them next to the because we have a tent. Yeah, we have a tent, and try to light the end of those with some tinder and stuff to make makeshift torches for when the fire. We eventually put out the fire. Let's just the campfire, but we'll still have some light while we sleep.
All right, you begin doing so.
Remy is going to pop open some beers and pass that around to everyone who wants them, and is then going to talk to Alonzo real quick. Alonzo,
Yes.
I know you probably brought this, and I know it's like really weird for me to ask, but you know, I have to follow my feelings with everything, and I just wanted to borrow something from you real quick. Do you have a magnifying glass?
I mean, I do. Yeah, if you can you help me with this real quick? And he just needs a little more help to place the pole in the ground. It's in my bag.
Yeah, Remy just quickly there you go.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, I just you know, the free bait that Ed gave me, I just wanted to look over them. Sometimes I like to know in particular what type of species that I'm fishing with, because there are some that are good for fish and then there's others that aren't, and if it's not good for the fish, it's not good for when we eat it. So I just wanted to take them back to my tent and look them over.
Well, if you help me with this really quickly, I can help you look it over. I may be a pre-med student, but I'm majoring in biology.
I'm minoring in biomedical engineering, specifically imaging, you know, like x-ray machines and stuff.
I'm proud of you.
Wave of the future, my man. Wave of the future. People will always need to look at their bones.
Yeah, and people will always need to know what those bones are made of and other things, which is why I'm majoring in what I am.
So Remy's totally going to help Alonzo, and if Alonzo will help Remy set up what could arguably be a scientific research facility within his tent, which would count as a stronghold.
Oh
my
God.
Which would then get Remy 2 competency points.
It would get me
Just for that, I'm setting up a kitchen in my
competency
tent.
points.
I can't do location hazards, so I'm doing this.
Nice.
Each of you go to the tent and you begin to set up a series of stations that you can work at and study the night worms, the night crawlers. However, as you do so, everyone hears the crack of thunder in the distance, and there is a cold chill that fills the night air.
Well, hopefully we have enough to make sure that, you know, we're covered completely. We're not just in the rain. Didn't expect it to rain today. I should have looked at the weather.
We should probably get the fire going pretty fast so that we can
Right.
at least get some warmth before the rain puts it out.
Matt has succeeded in starting a fire in the center of the camp area, and there's an orange glow that's cast, wavering about on the trees. All of them are tall, with strangling branches that surround you, and the shadows dance wildly. What do all of you do?
I think. Go ahead.
I want to tell ghost stories.
Oh. Well, that sounds like more fun than the stuff that you set up in there. Matt is not at all interested in the research facility, and he's just stayed outside and is just kind of like hanging out by the fire and like warming himself up, having a beer.
Kelly
about-
definitely joins Matt.
You're having a beer by the fire, Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And as the small research facility is being built inside of a tent and the two of you are sitting by the fire, there is that cold wind. There's not quite rain yet, but you're watching as there is clouds that sort of surround the stars and darken around the moon. And there are strikes of lightning that light up the sky in beautiful ways as these sparks dance across the night sky. It's at this point that I spend 100 risk, and old Betty dies. The lights from the headlamps left on. The car and the battery are dead.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'll finish this in here. Remy, I think your car died.
Yeah, we got a problem.
Sometimes she gets a little bit more like, carrot cake as opposed to red velvet. So I'll unhook the connectors right now. She'll, it'll just take some time, and in the morning I'll try cranking her back up again. It'll be fine. She does this sometimes. We have a love relationship. Remy goes out to pop the trunk and unhook the battery.
Remy walks out on his own and unhooks the battery while the rest of you are by the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly looks over at Matt and goes, I could be wrong. I don't think that's how cars work.
Well, I mean, my dad used to have a car that he kind of complained about, and he had this thing with the battery too, and sometimes it would like get this kind of foamy or powdery stuff around it. I don't know. There's something to maybe in the morning, maybe it's too cold, maybe we just need to clean up some of that like stuff that builds up. But
yeah, we can check it out in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine. How have you been doing?
I mean, I'm okay. I don't know. What the hell? What's the use hiding it? I'm going to pull out the draft card and I actually hand it over to Kelly.
Kelly takes it, takes a look over it, and you watch her face just go from like that easy openness to just like hard. And then she looks back up at Matt and she goes, well, you're not fucking doing this, right?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a way out. I told Remy, and yeah, I still got to tell Alonzo about it. But I don't know. This might be the last time that we're all together like this, and I just can't. I don't really want to talk about it too much right now. I definitely know that I want you all to know, and I don't know what I'm gonna do about it yet. But
yeah, well, it's not gonna be the last time that we all spend time together because you're not joining this. This is senseless violence.
I know. I don't want to, but I don't know how to get out of it. We're not connected. We don't know people that can help. I dropped out. Not in school. It's getting bad grades, so.
Listen, okay, I wasn't gonna tell all of you this, but I have some people that I've been going out to protest with. They know tons of ways to dodge the draft. I can get you connected with them. It's going to be fine, Matt.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Let's just have a good time.
We're just going to have a good time and then we're going to figure it out.
Two things. One, just because I can't fathom that he wouldn't have checked and I'm not familiar with the 60s either. I'm sorry. Was it supposed to rain this time? Were we prepared for a potential storm, or is this super random out of the ordinary?
All of the news reports that you had listened to had not forecast rain. However, it's not unusual in the mountains for this sort of weather to kick up very quickly, and meteorological science, while good, is not as accurate as it is nowadays. So this is not out of the ordinary, just unfortunate.
Second thing is, as I start to walk out of the tent, just come check on everything, I see the draft card, but I make sure I'm not seen while they finish up their conversation.
Noted. Remy, you're making your way towards old Betty. What sort of shoes are you wearing?
Remy would be not wearing what's the 60s high sneakers.
Chuck Taylors, perhaps?
Yeah.
So they're canvas.
Well, he wouldn't be wearing his cleats. He has them with him, but he wouldn't be wearing them for driving. So I guess just what would be normal sneakers.
You're
right
making
now.
your way up, and your sneakers are pushing their way across the gravel as you get closer to the car. Old Betty is there. The hood is already up.
Hey, any of y'all already take a look at old Betty? And Remy's gonna keep heading towards it.
And
get closer.
Oh, go ahead. Well, as Remy asked that question, I think Kelly looks around and goes, "Where's you seen Elizabeth?"
I've been with you.
She's not within the sight of the fire.
I'm
walking out to the fire.
Yeah.
Remy,
No one here. I call out to Remy.
make a spot listen check.
Okay. Remy doesn't really have anything to put into spot listen, so that'd just be a straight roll.
That is 1 degree of failure. Remy, would you like to do anything about that failure?
Yeah, I'm gonna put 2 of Remy's competency points in to make it 1 degree of success. Unless this game has washes being success.
The rules, as stated in previous games, stand in effect here.
Just
And in
saying.
case you were wondering, you are in a location hazard.
It's a shame that I'm in a location hazard because Remy does not know anything about location hazards.
There are also 2 communal points remaining, should any of you choose to use them. Remy, you get closer to Old Betty, and the hood is in fact open.
Now I've never had a problem with this hood popping open before. Remy's gonna take a look under the hood.
You lift up the hood the rest of the way. Wires have been pulled haphazardly. It looks like it's been intentionally sabotaged. You're using your flashlight because it's dark here. The flashlight goes dark. And off in the distance, you hear a twig break not far away from you. The flashlight comes back to life. What would you like to do?
Did Remy take his athletic gear and is it already in camp, or does he need to pull that from the car still?
I'll say your athletic gear is still in the car if you like. It makes sense that you wouldn't have used it to set up camp.
Okay. Remy's going to... It's probably, I don't know, tied to the top or in the back. Let's just say just like pulls that off and unzips his athletic bag, where probably in there he would have the axe, his baseball bat. Remy might bring a hockey stick. And with that, he'll go ahead and pull out the axe.
You pull out the
He'll
axe.
pull out the axe and the baseball bat. The axe he'll keep down in his less dominant hand, which is the left hand, but the baseball bat he'll have on his shoulder for the right, because he's actually more comfortable with that one.
So be it. It sounds like someone is in the woods not far away. Slow, methodical footsteps. The breaking of leaves and twigs under heavy boot feet. It doesn't sound like an animal, and it doesn't sound like Elizabeth. It's bigger than that, whatever it is. Matt, Alonzo, Kelly, you're by the fire. What are you doing?
Well, a quick question is, did we, oh kind game master, finish this quote unquote stronghold for scientific research?
You did.
Great. Okay. Past that, I think it depends on how long Remy has been gone, because we can see the car, correct, from where we are.
In the distance, you see shadows,
See shadows.
you can hear Remy moving around. It's not so far that you cannot make some sort of contact with Remy, but to do so, you would need to shout.
Okay. He doesn't know he doesn't need to not shout right now, and he just says, "Is everything okay over there?"
No. I got some creep vibes going on right now, and I think somebody's moving around out here, and I don't think it's Elizabeth.
I'm
We
gonna
don't know
go
where she
look
is.
for her. And Kelly gets up and turns on her flashlight.
Well, I don't know if you should go by yourself, and I think maybe one of us should go and see if Remy needs any help.
I mean, I'm a little good with cars if you want to help Kelly.
Okay, all right. Well, Alonzo's coming, Remy, and yeah, let's go. I guess let's go look for your friend, Kelly.
Before Matt goes, I'll put a hand on his shoulder. And I'm not frail, but I'm not strong like Remy is. But there's a squeeze. And I say, be careful out there, right? Come back.
I will. You too.
All right.
And I kind of at that point can't resist the impulse, and I give Alonzo like a really big hug, as big as this little guy can give.
He'll squeeze back, and he'll also whisper as he's close, "We'll get you out of this." And he'll start heading towards Remy.
You start heading towards Remy. Matt, you and Kelly begin walking through the woods. Kelly, your flashlight is strong. The light breaks the darkness here. Again, though, overhead, the crack of thunder sounds, and a sputtering of rain, cold, begins to fall. A sprinkle at the moment, but it sends a chill down your spine as it falls against your flesh, pressing against your clothes. You become very aware of how exposed all of you are and how far out in the middle of nowhere you are. We'll start with Kelly and Matt. I need you to make a navigation check, both of you. You have 3 black dice of difficulty.
Ooh.
I am supported in navigation and have a +2. Does that mean anything?
I'm going to give you 1 black die of difficulty.
Nice.
As the two of you begin walking through the woods, it becomes apparent that it's very easy to lose your way. You begin sloping down these steep hills, sliding across trees that all look the same. And even with your single flashlight, the woods surround you, bark and leaves, overgrown vines and plants. You hear the sounds of nature around you, but they've become more quiet, more muted, as the rain slowly begins to fall and thunder begins cracking more and more often, with the pinpoint of lightning every once in a while piercing through the darkness. Matt, surprisingly though, whether it be through the trauma of your recent months, the realization of what you might have to do, or just being around people that care about you, your senses are sharply honed, and you've been paying close attention to where you are. You have 2 degrees of success. Kelly, you have 3 degrees of failure. Kelly, is there anything that you would like to do to mitigate that failure?
I'm just going to use 2 competency to mitigate it a little bit, bring it down to 1 degree of failure.
I'm going to give you a suggestion.
Sure.
It's up to you, of course. With Matt's success, you will not need to worry about the failure here if you wish to keep hold of your competency.
Listen, I'll take your advice. Absolutely.
You may need those points very soon. So, Matt, tell us how you succeed in navigating, both of you, through these woods towards Elizabeth.
Well, the thing that I think Matt has been on his mind, kind of always imagining, well, what am I going to be like when I'm over there? And it's kicked his senses up in a different way, and has been kind of paying attention to things in a way that he didn't used to, like tracking the campfire. Every couple of steps that we would take, Matt would look over his shoulder and kind of gauge where the campfire is in relationship. And even going past one of the poles that Alonzo had stuck in, just to have some extra light potentially, Matt like stuck out, grabbed one of those and pulled it out and started to kind of just like drag it along the ground to kind of drag a trail behind him, that even if we can't see so well in the darkness, at least he thinks with the flashlight he'd be able to see it.
So you're marking the earth, leaving a trail that's clear to follow back.
Mm-hmm.
And you continue deeper into the woods until the two of you find Elizabeth. There is a stone. It's in the center of another clearing. She's standing there, just staring directly at the path that you've come out of. On the stone in front of her are 3 small bundles. In her hand, a 4th, and she puts the 4th bundle down on the stone and looks to you.
Elizabeth, are you okay?
Yes, I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
We've been looking all over for you. We should get back to camp.
It's coming.
What's coming?
It's coming. And she looks up and around as she turns away from you. You see on the stone in front of you the 3, now 4 bundles. One of them is Alonzo's book. It's been ripped up and tied with twine into a bundle. The other is one of Remy's baseball hats, shredded into another bundle, tied with twine. Part of your extra jacket, Matt, is shredded and put into a bundle and sat on the stone.
Oh.
Kelly, one of your blankets, a blue blanket that you loved, you always travel with, has been shredded and put into a bundle tied with twine and is sitting on the stone.
This is seriously freaking me out.
Right. I don't know if maybe we should just leave her here, because this is super weird.
Shh. Can you hear that?
Do we hear anything?
Both of you can make spot listen checks.
Any dice of difficulty?
None. Matt, you have 4 degrees of failure. Kelly, you have 2 degrees of success. Matt, would you like to do anything about your failure?
Yeah, I don't want it to be a catastrophic failure, so will 2 competency points make that a normal failure instead of a catastrophic
you
failure?
can spend 1 and it will no longer be catastrophic.
And is this a location hazard? Because I have that.
You are in a location hazard.
Then I will use that one here to reduce that.
Very well. Alonzo, you make your way up the hill to Old Betty, and you see Remy standing with a bat and an axe behind the old station wagon. You move past the wood panels of the old station wagon and get closer to your friend. I need you, Alonzo, to make a spot listen check.
Cool. I don't have anything to add to that. But amazing. I love this. so much.
Your flashlight is still strong.
Oh yeah, when they start to walk away, I have my flashlight on me, just checking it really quickly. But I also have this small little pouch that's connected to my belt, and one has two different. One has a pencil, one has a pen, and then one has almost like a scalpel type of thing, like a small incision thing. I just carry it around. If I don't know, he's just used to being having to have things on him, especially in the courses and the things that he does at college. But he has it in like a small little, like not in a kit, just a small little thing. And he just like checks that really quickly. And
You have a small knife with you.
yes, a small knife, very small, like that. With a long, yeah. Boop. Anywho, but after checking those things, he begins to walk forward, a little briskly, making sure that Remy isn't up there by himself. Remy's strong. Remy got some muscle, but Remy is head on, and Alonzo needs him not to be that right now, just to be safe.
There are multiple sounds around you. Twigs breaking. People are in the woods. They are not animals. These are the sounds of boots. And you hear them to your right and your left, but that is not what catches your attention, Alonzo. Remy is looking off into the woods, strongly standing with his weapons in his hands, as a large figure begins to come up behind him. I need both of your intentions. Alonzo, you are unaware that there is someone standing behind you.
Wait, Alonzo or Remy?
Oh, I'm sorry, Remy, you are unaware of someone standing behind you.
And Remy's facing me?
Facing you.
Okay, so the figure came out of the woods then, where
From
Remy
the
heard
opposite
the-
side where the sound
noise.
was coming from. Quietly and stealthily, the figure has approached you.
And Remy has no idea that it's there. Okay. Well, Remy's looking at Alonzo, and Remy would be calling out to Alonzo then.
And
Alonzo, someone did something to old Betty. Like, it wasn't the headlights. Someone did something. So I've got this axe and this bat, and in my bag, a bunch of other athletic gear.
I see the person, correct?
You do.
Stop talking. Run over here now.
Remy is good at taking orders because he's part of a team, and there is no I in team. So he's going to start running over to Alonzo.
Alonzo has just bought Remy a dodge roll.
I was like, it was good RP, but I'm like, if I can see them, stop talking, get over here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
The figure lunges forward. It's large, silhouetted. You don't see features yet, but it is massive, larger than Remy, and is swinging an axe. Remy, that is 5 degrees of failure on your dodge. Would you like to do something about that with the remaining competency that you have?
Sure. I mean, Remy has enough to get out of this, but whatever is next, Remy does not have.
Are you spending all of your competency to save your life?
Well, Remy has 7 competency points in total, and he will need 5 of those to do a wash. Would he need both of the others to completely dodge?
You would only need 1 to completely dodge, but if you wish to continue running and not fall forward, you would need to spend an additional competency. The choice is yours.
We have 3 communal, so you can use one of the communal, right?
Okay. I will use 5. I will use 6, and I will use 1 communal.
You stumble forward as you immediately act on Alonzo's order, and you hear a blade whooshing past your head and it strikes. It cuts through your jacket, and it strikes the ground beneath you as you continue to run. Someone just swung a bladed weapon at you, and you barely escaped its strike. And so you are stumbling forward. You fall to the ground. You drive gravel into the palms of your hand and across your face as you pull yourself back up and keep running. You are, for the moment, safe. What did the two of you do?
What the hell is that? And I'm...
Did he just do what I think he tried to do?
Yeah, but he looks a lot bigger than you. You gotta go. And I'm going to make sure that Remy is fine to run, knowing that they can run faster than me, probably. And I'm going to start booking it towards the way Matt and Kelly went.
Both of you turn and start running as your flashlight quickly passes over a figure, a mass of muscle. You see the lower half of an enormous, distorted face. Its flesh and its lips are horribly bubbled and boiled, covered with warts and other growth. Half of its head has been concealed with a burlap sack, and the eyes have been cut out. It is covered up to its elbows in blood. It is wearing discarded old overalls that are shredded. There are bones and furs hanging from it, and the figure is holding an enormous makeshift two-handed axe, and it is currently embedded into the ground where Remy just barely was saved. The two of you begin running. I need you both to make endurance checks, and then I'll come back to you. Matt and Kelly. You turn and head back to the camp?
Yeah, I mean, I'm creeped out by this, and I say to Kelly, I don't want to be here. This is too weird. We need to get the hell out of here.
And what did we hear with our spot listen checks again?
Both of your spot listen checks have been, one was a success and one was a failure. Mm-hmm. Matt, did you wish to spend any competency to correct yours?
I used one, my location hazard one, to make it so it's not
that's
critical.
right. You removed the one, so it's now just a regular failure. Mm-hmm. So Matt doesn't hear anything. Kelly, however, you do hear all of the shouting from back at the camp.
Yeah, immediately.
It's muted and a distance. It's you're very far away from camp right now, but you do hear something. It sounds like yelling. Like Alonzo's yelling and then Remy perhaps is yelling?
Yeah, immediately Matt says, it's creeping me out, gotta go. And then Kelly hears the shouts, looks at him and goes, yeah, we gotta go. And grabs his hand and kind of just starts running back on the trail that Matt made.
I move.
The flashlights remain strong as the two of you run back the way that you came, using Matt's cleverly left path. However, I do need you both to make a navigation check, and I'm not going to impose any dice of difficulty due to the fact that Matt thought ahead before moving forward with this action. Alonzo. Matt, you have 1 degree of success, and Kelly, you have 1 degree of success. That is enough for both of you to make your way back, but not necessarily quickly. You are constantly stopping and starting, trying to find the pathway as you move forward. Do you wish to spend competency to speed up your return?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll put 2 in, if that gets us there faster.
It makes the group pool now a 4, which is a critical success. It will get you there very quickly.
I'm running. I have Kelly's hand, and in my other hand, I have that pole that had the fire at the end of it. If it's not out, then I'm gonna keep it on because it's gonna help us, hopefully, at least light the way a little bit.
Unfortunately, the rain has increased. I'm spending another 50 risk, and the downpour has not only put out your torch, but the fire in the middle of the camp. All you have now are your flashlights.
Oh, something's going on. I know Remy really well, and we got to get back to them. We got to get out of here.
I heard them yelling. We gotta go. Keep on running.
You're slipping through mud as you run. I need you both to make endurance checks as you charge up the hill back towards where Remy and Alonzo were last heard.
Oh.
Kelly, that's 5 degrees of failure.
Yes, it is.
Matt, that is 2 degrees of success. Kelly, what would you like to do about your 5 degrees of failure on this endurance check?
Would love to spend my competency on that one. I am going to... Jeez. I'm going to spend 5 competency points just to make that a wash.
So be it.
Can I donate a competency point since we're holding hands and traveling together?
The two of you are working together as a team. Absolutely. You can share competency amongst yourselves as long as you're in the same space. You are going to use a competency, so that's actually a success. And while Kelly does slow down after all of that running and is panting and trying to catch her breath desperately, the two of you sweating, filthy, covered in mud, and having been drenched in rain, terrified by whatever it is that Elizabeth girl was doing, find your way back at the campsite. The fire is out, and then you see 2 individuals running towards you. What do you want to do?
Remy, is that you? Remy, Alonzo?
Remy, Alonzo, you all 4 are back together at the campsite. In the darkness, your flashlights are all that you have. Tell me what your intentions are.
Remy's going to explain the situation to them. He's going to do it very quick and concise, like he learned in football, where it's like you do it quick because you don't have a whole lot of time. Be like, these are facts. There's a big thing out there that's mutated. It has a double-handed axe. Someone sabotaged the car, and we as a team have to get out of here now.
Controlled and collected as Remy is, unfortunately, Matt is at the same time trying to explain what happened back there, but not as collected and not as clearly and not nearly as concisely. Look, we gotta get. I don't know what the hell's going on. Elizabeth is. We already knew she's weird. There's bags, your stuff. There's stuff, your stuff, all of our stuff. Wait, what? What'd you say? What's happening over there?
We're gonna have to go out on foot. In my head, Remy had grabbed his bag, and had that over his shoulder.
I'll allow it.
Remy's gonna hand his axe to Kelly. Yeah, you work at McDonald's, right? You know how to slice and dice.
Yep. Guess there's no time to be prideful. Yeah.
Really quickly, Remy and I didn't get as far from where Remy just got attacked versus Matt and Kelly coming back. So we know there's where the car is, where they went off. Is there any other way to get from this campsite, whether it's down a cliff or something? Because we can't go in any of those 2 ways now.
If you wish to go somewhere other than those 2 choices, you're going to be going into the woods blindly.
And you said that there's an opening where Elizabeth is? Because we're not going back. I've seen mutations with my own eyes. That was more than a mutation.
Well, I only saw Elizabeth back there, so if there's more than one person or
there's a lot more that way.
Then this is the way to go. I guess if we're just gonna go and confront Elizabeth, I don't know what we could do, but she's super weird. But she
go out towards the road. Go out towards the road that we drove in and head back out that way. We might have to go through the woods to get to it, but we gotta decide Elizabeth or get into the road, but not that way.
Not that way. The road. I say let's go to the road, and I'm looking around. I see that Kelly has an axe and you have a bat, and I have this stick.
I have a scalpel. That's all I have. But we'll be fine.
I got a hockey stick. I have a hockey stick, I have a baseball, I have a football. What do you want, my dude?
Oh, I'll take the hockey stick. Alonzo, I don't know. Okay.
I still have my bag with me because he doesn't go anywhere without it, and he just bought stuff, and he still had everything with him. He's fine. If we get to that point, I'll be able to protect myself. We just gotta go.
All right. We're heading into the woods to try to get back to the road. Is that
Everyone can make a dodge check and a composure check, please.
Remy is going to take point on this so that we're in a formation.
That is very good to know. The composure check is going to be a little easier now, but I do want the composure check to be made. I'm not going to add any black dice of difficulty. I do need both the composure and the dodge, however.
Yeah. It increases the morale of formations they lead by 2.
Everyone is going to have an additional 2 to their morale. So if you have a morale of 5, you add 2 on top of that. So your morale is technically 7. And that's for everybody as long as you're all traveling together. Okay, so let's start with Matt. You have a composure failure of 4, and you have a success of 1 on your dodge.
I do.
The failure to your composure, what would you like to do about that?
I will add 1 competency to make it so it's not a catastrophic failure. Is that enough, or do I need to add more?
If you wish to be able to move effectively, you're going to need to make this a success. Otherwise, you're going to panic and you're going to stand frozen for a moment.
Ooh. I don't have enough to make that a success, so I'm going to have to roll with the momentary panic.
All right, so you are panicked. However, a large boulder is thrown from somewhere nearby. It's about half the size of you. It's this massive rock that has no business flying through the air, and it strikes right next to you. And you just barely step back from it as you see this dark object hurtling at you from the direction of Old Betty. Let's go next to Kelly. Kelly, you have a failure of 4 degrees on your dodge and a failure of 1 on your composure.
Yeah. 4 is a catastrophic failure, correct?
Correct.
There's no way that I can mitigate this failure, even dipping into the communal pool. So I am just going to spend my last competency point to reduce this from a catastrophic failure.
Very well. You are also frozen as you hear this strange bellow. Is there something that you would like to add, Kelly?
I forgot that I got a formation bonus, so I do have a success in my composure, but still failed that dodge.
You are able to keep moving, but as you do, something from the darkness flies and strikes you in the back, and you feel the weight of something heavy pressing you down. Everyone else sees an enormous, broken piece of log strike at Kelly across the back, and there is a cracking noise. What is your damage threshold, Kelly?
8.
You take a 4, a 5, a 3, and a 2, which means that you need to push probably your 4 and your 3 over, which is going to cause an injury. And this is a bone injury, and your arm is broken as you fall to the ground under the weight of this log that has been ripped up out of the ground. You all see roots, and you hit the ground painfully, and you feel your arm bend backwards the wrong way as bone protrudes out of your skin, and blood begins seeping out of the wound. You are in immense amount of pain at this moment.
Yeah, Kelly kind of falls back and then screams a little bit and then drops the axe and goes, "Shit!"
Remy, you have 2 degrees of success on your composure, but 2 degrees of failure on your dodge. What would you like to do?
Well, the composure would be 4 degrees of success because of the formation.
All right.
The dodge would still be 2 degrees of failure.
So would you like to do something about that failure on your dodge?
Someone's got to dodge this. I don't want to take away from what Alonzo could get though. So I'll spend my last competency point to bring it to 1, and I will take 1 of the communal competency points to make this a wash for Remy.
All right. So you make it a wash. Yeah. You make it a wash. You stumble as you step back from the same rock that Matt was dodging out of the way. As far as composure goes, you are holding everything together. You aren't panicked in any way by the approach of this thing. However, though you were not struck, you do stumble back and start to fall, just barely catching yourself before you do so. It prevents you from running this round.
Is there any way, because 4 is a really big success on this, that I can give a success to someone else?
Everyone other than Kelly, because Kelly has already been resolved, and I don't want to go back on that. If you wish to give one to Alonzo if needed, then so be it.
That's
Alonzo,
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, Alonzo, you have 3 degrees of failure on your composure and 1 degree of failure on your dodge. You have 1 additional competency that's given over to you by Remy, who is the leader of your formation. What would you like to do?
So the composure is technically actually just 1 degree of failure because of the formation, as stated before.
Right.
I will definitely not be failing anything today, for the Bible said no. So I'm going to add 2 competency points for each to make them both 1 degree of success.
Okay, so both are 1 degree of success. You do hold it together, and you do manage to step away from the rock that slapped down right in front of Matt, and you do not stumble or fall. In fact, you're able to kind of help bolster Remy up a little bit. However, Kelly has been struck. And while Kelly is holding it together quite well, Kelly is in a lot of pain and has a broken arm right now and is lying on the ground. Those of you who wish to run may do so. However, Kelly, you'll have to take time to stand. I need each of your intentions now.
Remy's gonna pick up Kelly.
Okay.
And sorry,
that's a lift pull. No degrees of, or no dice of difficulty. Alonzo, what would you like to do?
Is the log on Kelly, or can Kelly get up without? Is the log a problem?
The log is not currently a problem.
Gotcha. I thought the log was on Kelly. Okay, noted. Then what I'm going to do is look at Kelly and say, I apologize. And whatever bone is broken, I'm going to try to snap it back in place.
All right, make a first aid check. Because of your training, I'm not going to have you add any dice of difficulty. I'm going to let you do this straight. So go ahead and make that roll.
What I'm going to do is as I get over there, I'm just going to take, you already know my thing of rags. I'm going to get one of my rags, hand it to, and hold it to Kelly's mouth, so she can like bite down on it so she doesn't scream. And then attempt to just, okay. I get to add a +3 to that because of my first aid. Don't screw me over. I can't say that out loud. Up on what?
4 degrees of success is a critical success. Congratulations.
I'm adding 1 competency point to make that 5.
You expertly snap the bone back into place. While there is very little pain in the action because of Alonzo's training, you do feel a sharp, jagged jolt as the bone snaps into place. And you're biting down on the rag, you scream, but you are able to now move forward. After this is done, there is a moment of relief, and while you're still in pain, it is much better than it was before. I'm going to give you an additional 2 competency to use, Kelly, for an endurance check in the future.
Wait, I'm sorry. Okay. I didn't have to add any competency because you gave me 2 additional successes to my next first aid check. So
keep it, and then we'll take it back. In fact, you have used that. You don't get any further competency to spend, but that counts for the success here.
Yeah.
So you are actually quite well taken care of given the circumstances. Okay, so Matt, what is your action?
So I was stunned for a moment, but I saw everyone else kind of jump into action, and upon seeing that, I have this hockey stick, and I'm gonna pick up a flashlight if there's one if Kelly dropped a flashlight when with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pick it up and I'm gonna move forward with my hockey stick, and I'm gonna start to kind of hack through some of the underbrush with it to start to kind of clear a way for us, kind of get ahead of them a little bit and help facilitate their movement through the brush. So with the flashlight, I'm making sure that they can see where I am, and I'm taking a look at a trail that I'm trying to like clear a little bit as best as I can with what I have. Let's get out of here.
Kelly, the only thing that you can really do is make an endurance check as you're pulled up by Remy and start to run with the others. So make your endurance check now, please.
Sure thing. I also, as Remy is picking me up, do grab with my good hand the axe that I dropped again.
You absolutely do so. There's no problem with that. You just won't be able to use it in your broken arm.
Totally.
So you have 2 degrees of success that make that a wash. Do you have
Right.
any competency at all to spend?
I would love to spend a communal competency point to make it a success.
You can do that, and you begin rushing forward with all of your group as you run away from the campsite as quickly and as haphazardly as possible to get as far away from this maniac as you possibly can. Behind you, you hear it again.
That man's on the bad roids. We got to get out of here.
I don't think that's right.
Fuck is that thing?
You mean there's good roids?
Well,
Hack.
Run.
The 4 of you, having survived this encounter, push your way into the woods deeper and deeper. You're far away from any trail. You push forward until you come to a clearing. There's a drop and it slides down. In the distance, you see an old farmhouse. You see a jagged cliffside that leads up to some mountainous ranges. You see a single light on that house.
we could get some help here.
Could we get some help or could we get some more hurt?
We don't know where these people came from. If they are from these parts, they could easily be from that house.
Then what
don't
should we
know.
do?
We'll run back to the road. I thought we were heading towards the road.
Well, it is the woods, and we don't know everything out here. So maybe if there's a problem in there, we'll solve that problem, and hopefully there's something in there we can use.
Right. So, head forward, but maybe don't go knocking on the door for help.
We'll look around first.
Okay, let's go then.
It's raining heavily. You're all drenched. The mud makes it hard to move carefully or quickly, but you do as best as you can. You're breaking out of the woods and you come to a soggy dead field of what used to be corn. However, it's all rotten and turned over, and there's the deathly smell of something that's rancid. There are flies buzzing in the air, and you go knee-deep into the mud as you escape from the woods, pushing forward towards the single light in this old, abandoned-looking farmhouse. Behind it is a barn and some other buildings, and along the side of the mountain, you think you see other small structures made out of metal and other small wood shacks. There is a fence here, and in the field, a number of scarecrows stand crucified on vigil in the night. What are your intentions?
Well, maybe we can go into one of those structures off to the side and just kind of hide out for the night, and then when there's daylight, we can make our way out of here.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting anywhere in this storm.
I'll go with whatever the team goes with.
I mean, we could go knocking on the door of the main house, but I don't know if I trust anybody from around here.
Alonzo, you're You know,
Smart.
you're big money, big brains.
I'm not big money. I'm big brains. There's a difference. I'm be honest, y'all. This is out of my wheelhouse. I don't go camping. I don't go traveling. I don't know what to expect, but what we just saw, or at least what you and I saw, was a bunch of folk and some big thing that shouldn't exist, and now it does. We don't know where that came from, so I expect at this point something to be in that house or something to be in this place. So I don't know if it's hard. It's better for us to just wait it out or try to defend ourselves.
The woods can kill us as easily as anything out there.
Matt, your flashlight is dead.
Uh-oh. I'm like, I try to hit it a couple times.
It doesn't come back to life. The others are going strong.
This one's dead. I'm just gonna drop it. What good is it?
Everybody can make a spot listen check.
I'm going to grab the flashlight that Remy, that Matt just dropped, hand it to Remy. You're the football player. No trails.
I don't know what this means.
Throw it in a spot that doesn't say that we were just here.
I am so good at throwing.
We can throw it at
Remy-
someone, though. That could be a weapon.
I'm not going to make you make a throw check, Remy. I believe that you are very capable of making this flashlight fly across this field and never be seen again. However, those spot listen checks are important.
To throw it in a way that would, if someone was looking for a trail of us. And since it's raining, you know, our footsteps might get, you know, where they can't really see us. So throwing that flashlight to where they think that we went off into another direction, like maybe went to the shelters over there or something.
I'll allow it.
That's what Remy would precision throw.
Wherever you want it to be. You throw it, you're able to do so. This is definitely something that you're made for, so I'm not going to make you make a roll to do it. I feel like you throw the flashlight, it lands approximately where you want it to, and it should work the way that you hope that it will.
Okay.
As far as the spot listen checks go, I have one from Kelly, which is a success, one from Alonzo, which is a failure, one from Remy, which is a failure as well. Matt, did you make a spot listen check? 4 degrees of failure. Does anyone wish to mitigate their degrees of failure? Because as a group, you are critically failing this check.
Don't really have much to put into it. If I put a competency point into it, it's still a wash and it doesn't help the party.
I can put 2. What I don't want is to cause a commotion that will stop people who are catching onto something from losing their attention and focusing it on me. So that's how I foresee a catastrophic failure impeding us, is me making something louder than what they're trying to listen to. So I'll put in 2 competency points to reduce it by 2, or I can put an extra one in there and reduce it by 3 if that will help us.
Because we have 2, we have 1 competency in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
If you put in 2, I'll put in 3 to make mine 2 successes. And go ahead.
I could put in 1 to make mine. I only have 1 left. So I can put in 1 to make mine a wash so it doesn't count against the party.
Nice.
Let's use the communal one for that one then. So you at least have 1 to yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I'll make mine a wash.
I'm putting in 2 to
And I'm
bring
putting
it down
in 3 to
All
make mine a
that-
+2.
That brings it into a much better situation. You hear the roar again. But you see it now, charging across the field much quicker than you expected it to be. It's coming towards all of you. This large maniac, hulking, carrying this 2-handed axe, swinging it through the air like a reaper as the burlap sack conceals the majority of their face. The mutated, horrible underside of their head boils, popping as they push forward, screaming in the rain, coming closer and closer to you as you stand in this rotten field surrounded by scarecrows. 3 of the scarecrows begin moving.
Let's get to the farmhouse.
I'm running as fast as I can.
Yeah, run for the farmhouse.
The scarecrows reach and grab at you. Matt, you feel your jacket rip as one of them, still tethered to this post, grabs you.
What the hell is that?
Go ahead, Matt.
I mean, if it's grabbed me and it's still holding on to me, then I'm going to wriggle out of my jacket to get away from it.
Leaving your
unless I was able to
jacket
pull away.
behind, you run from the maniac. Where are you all headed? Towards the house?
I want to use that word. The hulking thing is not running towards the house, correct?
It's running towards you.
Yeah, we're going to the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flashlight did nothing.
Oh.
Did nothing.
I should have
And
thrown
it's
it at the
still
thing.
very, very wet out here, isn't it?
You're drenched. It's pouring rain. You run towards the house. There's a single light on the inside, and the front door is open. There is old furniture that seems to have been left here. It doesn't look as if this house has seen anyone living in it for some time. What do you do?
Closing the door and, to the best of the ability, barricading it. Whatever
Yeah.
heavy table or heavy furniture, Remy's going for that to put that against the door, or at the very least, a chair under the doorknob.
Kelly's
You
gonna
do
keep
so.
an eye out.
I'm going to help Remy.
If
situate
it
that
comes
stuff.
to it, I want y'all to run. I'll be able to get you some time. I'll be right after you. You know I'm fast.
Oh boy.
There's a landing that leads up, a set of stairs, a second floor. There are a number of doors here. They're all open. There's a strange smell in the air. Blood and raw meat.
Oh.
Along the walls, all aged Victorian-style wallpaper that's peeling off, having been soaked through with rainwater and age. Our driver's license that have been nailed to the wall. Small tokens, bits of old books, photographs, little ephemera from young people. Trophies hung here in the place of family photos.
Those scarecrows weren't scarecrows. I don't know what they were. I thought they were dead, but they were moving. I don't know what that is.
It's like a nightmare. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know how to get out of here, but this...
Whoever was in here is sick. But we're gonna get out of here, okay?
We should run out the back, or maybe if some of you hide, I could run out the back and I could double back round. Draw
This
them
isn't-
away.
Behind Remy.
should stick together.
Technically, I'd be leaving you behind and coming back, Kelly.
In this house, is there anything just immediately that we can see other than like big furniture and stuff that might be useful as far as like any weaponry, not weaponry, but like a knife or any big pieces of wood, just things or
Yeah.
fabric. There's anything that seems useful while
Dry
we are
clothes.
scrambling. Yeah.
Are you leaving the foyer and entering into any of the rooms around you?
Jesus.
Yeah. I want to
if-
look for dry clothes.
Make a
Yeah.
search check. It's a search check for anyone searching for valuable items or tools. All of you can make a search check, but I need to know where you're going exactly and if you're staying together.
I'm gonna go to this area that has these prizes, as it were, and see if there's anything there that is of use to us.
I'm going to go in and I'm going to open what I would think might be like a coat closet, like in the entryway.
I'm going to go into the kitchen. If there's a kitchen, if it seems like this is not too far away, I'm going to try to go into that area.
All right.
Remy is going to. Well, all of the rooms on the first floor are taken care of, right?
Seems like it.
Remy's going upstairs.
I'm assuming I couldn't add tools to this, right? If I'm looking for like specific things, if I know what I'm looking for specifically, if my eyes happen to glance upon something that's familiar to me.
As you're looking through the space, as you're walking through it, yeah, I'll allow you to use your tools.
Okay.
For the search, only in the kitchen.
Exactly, and specifically in the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a science check for you.
Yeah.
However, yep.
Would it be possible then, because Remy's going looking to make sure that the area is clear, so he's taking his baseball bat and heading upstairs. He's specifically looking to see if there's anybody that might endanger, his family, his friends. So could he use athletic gear for this search check then? Because he's
I'll allow you to use your athletic gear for this single search check.
Okay. See if that makes a difference.
Matt, you have 3 degrees of success. You open the closet, and there are old boxes, Victorian hat boxes, and coats that have been wrapped in careful parchment paper and have been neatly pressed together in a crowded space. However, the thing that immediately catches your eyes as you begin pushing around is a double-barreled shotgun.
Whoa. I start taking all those dry clothes, and as neatly as they are folded, I'm just throwing them right back out into the room and calling out, "There's clothes, dry clothes right here." And then
as you do so, you reveal the back of the wall. It's bare wood. "Help me" has been scrolled onto it, carved into the wood.
I take note of that, and I reach for the shotgun.
Remy, do you have any search, or do you have any competency remaining?
I have 1. I've kept 1 to myself.
Did you add the 2 you got from the research facility thing?
Yeah, I already added.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So.
Yeah, no, thank you.
We tried.
Yeah, no, Remy's had a lot of, literally rolled the same bad roll that he had before. The same exact number. So I'm just gonna let this three failures roll on the search check.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. You make your way up the stairs, and when you hit the second landing, a figure in black turns the corner and puts a dagger through the base of your jaw into the back of your skull. There's not enough damage for you to mitigate here past your threshold for me to be able to say anything else than, with the 5 degrees of success, this is a killing blow. Your large body drops quietly down to the ground. As you die, you see an old woman staring at you as she takes her fingers and presses your eyes closed.
Remy's last thought is, "I'm sorry, Dodo." And he goes, "No, wait, it's Fro."
Kelly, tell me where you were searching one more time.
I was searching in the area where all of the driver's license and other things were set up, trying to find if they had taken any prize trinkets of value that would be of use to us.
You see a lot of things hanging on the wall here next to all of these trophies is a simple wooden yo-yo that has been unspooled, and it says Tommy on it, and it's hanging there amongst all of these other items. But on the ground, there's a wallet.
I'll reach down and pick it up.
It's new. It's not old like many of these others. Leather There's money inside. You open it and you see Alonzo's face on the driver's license.
What the heck?
Alonzo Sampson.
Kelly is gonna pocket it and go to look for Matt and then Alonzo in that order.
You start moving towards Matt. Matt is holding a gun in the hallway.
I don't know if I know how to use this. Are you good with this?
With a gun?
I don't even know how to. I never. They wanted to take me to the range, and I don't know. I never didn't like guns.
I can try, but you gotta use this. I'm better with it, but I'm not good with anything right now. I just found Alonzo's wallet.
Where?
Gestures back over to the wall.
Okay. How did it get here?
Did they steal it from the car, or was it?
Yeah, maybe they stole it from the car, but we gotta find Alonzo. Where are you, Alonzo?
Both of you can make a spot listen check. Alonzo, you are in the kitchen. How did your search check resolve?
It was 1 degree of failure. However, I am going to use the last of my competency, which was 3, to make that 2 degrees of success.
So with those degrees of success, the stove here is wood. There is no gas line that is run here. There's only a very, very old electrical line. However, you find a telephone wire.
Active?
You think it might be. It's newer. And if you follow the cord, it seems to lead into the doorway off on the far side of the kitchen. The other two enter in. Matt, you and Kelly hear somebody moving around in what might be the kitchen. You make your way over there. The three of you are now together, and it's quiet upstairs. Matt, you realize you haven't heard any footsteps.
Remy went upstairs, right? And I'm gonna start passing out, I took a pile of the coats, and I'm making sure that everyone has warmer clothes.
Matt, you're gonna be able to use that, right?
I'm gonna try to. I guess I pump the shotgun and get ready to. Remy was the one that would probably know how to use this more than any of us.
This is a very old double-barreled shotgun. It is already loaded and ready to go. You pull back the hammers and you pull the trigger. So you're ready to go.
Okay.
However, I do want to say, Alonzo, your flashlight goes out. You have 2 remaining flashlights that are working.
I'm gonna hand Alonzo's wallet to him.
Alonzo, you lost that wallet over a month ago.
Oh.
Where'd you find that?
Out by the wall.
Okay, this is weird because I've been looking for that for a long time, and for some reason, it's now in this house. But
That's
I've
not
never
the wallet
been.
that you came with. It's not the one that you had.
Mm-mm.
Okay, this is really weird. I'm gonna start to go. Remy went upstairs. Remy.
There's
We
no
gotta-
response.
Remy went upstairs.
Yeah.
And I
Hold
wanna
on. Where did that telephone wire lead?
To the door across the kitchen.
Before we head up, we didn't have any signal when we were out here. The radio went out. There's a live telephone wire. We can call somebody.
We should call for help. We should do that right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want us splitting up anymore if I can't hear Remy. I don't want any of you out of my sight.
All right, then let's go find the telephone.
Yeah, I'm going to try to follow that line, but I'm going to stay low. Just very attentive at this point. I've pulled that scalpel out. That little small incision knife, just to be safe.
You approach the door.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have the gun aimed at the door.
Who opens it?
I do.
Alonzo opens the door. The hinges creak and fight, but the door does open, and you see a series of stairs leading down into darkness.
You think there's a phone down there?
There is a wire leading down.
All right, well, as long as we have flashlights. This might be our only chance to get help.
Kayla, you still got yours, right?
Yeah. Kind of holding the flashlight and the axe in both hands, but holds it up a bit. It's a little unwieldy.
Your arm aches, and you're in immense pain, but you bite through it and continue forward. Who goes down the stairs first?
I'll go. I've got the gun. Here, you just stay right behind me and make sure that you're shining the light ahead so I can see whatever it is I might need to shoot.
I'm right behind you. You can do this.
Okay. Better start learning.
Make a dodge roll. Matt.
Oh boy. Oh.
2 degrees of success. You pull your foot up. You're about halfway down the steps. You feel the tension of a wire. And then you carefully pull your foot back.
Shine the light down there. There's a wire down here.
Shut it down.
There is a tripwire, and Matt almost pulled through it, causing the trap to spring. It leads down below the steps.
All right. Something might not want us to come down here. I'm going to carefully step over it. And my attention's not going to be on the floor to make sure that there's no more.
I'm going to try to angle the flashlight so that there is still a little bit of light going forward, but he can see the stairs.
Is everyone on the stairs now? The door behind you to the kitchen slams shut.
Oh no.
There's the sound of a lock and humming.
Humming isn't familiar, right?
It sounds like the song. Vocally, no. The person sounds old, but they're getting further away from the door, and it's dark except for the flashlights. As all of you turn at the sound of the slamming door, Matt, what is your damage threshold?
My damage threshold is a whopping 5. Oh no, that's my bonus. 7. 8.
You have a damage threshold of 8. Impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A blade pierces through the darkness. It cuts through you.
It's 5. It's not 8.
Unfortunate. In that case, the two of you on the top of the stairs, Kelly and Alonzo see Matt's body jolt forward as a machete blade pierces through his abdomen. Matt, it takes a moment for you to realize what is happening as you look down and wet, slick warmth begins to wash down to your legs. It slowly pulls itself out as a large, shadowy figure rises up the stairs behind Matt. Matt, you have one chance. What is your intention?
I'm going to turn and I'm going to try to shoot it in the head with a shotgun. I think at this point, I'm pretty dead.
You turn, and you're just inches away from this thing. It's another large, muscled figure, but this one is not wearing a mask. Its eyes are twisted in horrible ways, bulging almost entirely out of their sockets, and the mouth is open all the way. The jaw doesn't sit correctly, and it hangs with broken teeth. Its tongue, still quite human, dangles from one side of its mouth. It is completely nude, and it's holding this bloody machete, looking at you as it reaches forward, trying to grab you by the neck. You turn with your shotgun and you pull the trigger. Go ahead and roll your long gun. This is most likely your final roll.
I will
You have
use...
1 degree of failure. What would you like to use?
I have 2 competency points. I'm going to use them both to make that a success. I don't know if there's any communal points left.
There's
I think
one.
there's one left.
I'm going to take that.
So you make it 2 degrees of success.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't trigger anything other than a hit, but you do strike. You do not kill your opponent, but the shotgun explodes in front of you. However, at the same moment, Matt, it grabs you, and the last thing that you see is the brick wall flying towards you as your skull shatters, as this massive muscled fist breaks your head like a watermelon. Blood flies everywhere. Alonzo, Katie, what are your intentions?
Oh my god. Kelly screams and drops the flashlight as she tries to swing this axe down on this creature that just killed her friend.
The shotgun blast that Matt caused is bleeding heavily in this thing, this abomination. There's bone that you can see, and red blood pours forth out of the wound as you step forward and swing your axe with your one good arm. Make your strike, please, Kelly.
And I have 1 in slashing. Does that go into my multiplier, or?
We are going to add 1 degree of success automatically off the top just to allow you to proceed with this. You do have, I'm going to say, 1 black die of difficulty.
Yeah.
Adrenaline is going to cure some of it. The formation has been broken, but
Right.
you are very, very intent on killing this thing. And you step forward with your axe and you swing in the darkened stairwell. However, you have 3 degrees of failure on your slash, Kelly. As you swing, the creature reaches out with its hand and catches your axe. Do you want to spend anything to try to mitigate this failure?
I don't have anything. All that we have is the 1 communal point, and I don't think that's going to do anything for us.
I'm spending 50 risk. What would you like to do?
Can I use this moment as its Matt's dead. Don't know where Remy is. As it's focused on the axe, can I slide my scalpel down just enough and try to get it in his head? And I'm looking to get at a very specific point that I know I'm going to hit some brain guts and some brain things that's going to cut something off. I surgically do stuff for a living at this point.
I'm going to let you use your first aid to attack this thing in the head.
I do have piercing, so I'm like, okay, but I'll do that as well. But yeah, I'm aiming to use this thing to
I think your
stab the
first
heck out
aid
of
is
him.
considerably better. I think
It is.
you can use that, and we're going to say that you're trying to hit a vein or some vital point in the anatomy with this knife. It's not going to do as much damage, but it could cause immediate incapacitation if you do well enough. You have 1 degree of success. Would you like to change that, Alonzo?
We have the communal point. I will
Yeah.
take that communal point. I don't have anything else for me.
All of the competency has been spent. This makes it 2 degrees of success. I've spent 50 risk. The risk was to allow this abomination to reach forward and pull Kelly into its grasp.
Oh, wait, we
Just-
have one more? I'm using it then.
With 3 degrees of success, Alonzo, the scalpel pierces through the temple of this thing, and it falls to the ground, screaming. As it rolls down the stairs, Kelly, you drop. You've been released. The 2 of you are free. What are you doing?
I am being mindful of the tripwire, for sure. I am trying to get to that phone line, the end of that phone line, as quick as I can. And I say, if I don't make it out of here, at least the word of Dr. Alonzo Sampson is going to get out of here. And I want to make sure someone knows what's going on.
I'm following right behind, trying to keep it together.
The 2 of you run down into the basement over this thing as it jolts, grabbing onto its wound. It's in a great amount of pain and it's fighting, but it doesn't seem to be standing back up. It's actually getting quiet as it lies there. You're in a basement now. There's a circle drawn on the ground. There are small totems hanging from the ceiling. Bits of hair, skin, and bone. In the center of the circle is an effigy. A figure. Goat-like. Carved from darkened black wood. There is a small workbench to one side, old tools, lumbering saws in this room, chains, another small room like a closet, but clearly filled with filthy straw, and a pig's slop bucket that this abomination must have been eating out of. On the workbench is an old-fashioned telephone.
Right there.
Using the light that hopefully is still in Kelly's flashlight, I just make sure there's no other tripwires or anything like that, and I rush for that phone.
The phone, the wire, has been severed. But you think you might be able to fix it if you have time. Kelly, you hear above you the sound of footfall. The door from the kitchen upstairs opens, and a figure rolls down the steps.
Kelly just looks to Alonzo and says, "Fix the line," and just it rolls down like limply, or
Falling onto the top of the struggling abomination, Remy's dead body hits the ground.
fuck. Fix the line, and just runs out up towards the stairs, towards whoever this is that just threw this body down.
Before they go, they have a broken arm, crap. I reach into my bag, grab the alcohol, and grab the mattress, burn it. And I'm trying to give that to her before I start working on the line.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm gonna light a match and head that way.
Do you head up the stairs? There are other passageways down here that head deeper into the basement if you would like to follow them.
Before that, I want to go up and close the door again.
Kelly, you start to approach the door. You step over the tripwire and carefully maneuver yourself to the open door. You don't see or hear anything, but I'd like for you to make a final spot listen check.
Say final.
It's 4 degrees of failure, and you have nothing to spend.
Nope.
A handsome, bearded man appears from the other side of the doorway, grabs you, and puts a dagger into your belly. You feel the warm gush of blood. You have one action. What would you like to do?
Shit. Kelly looks into this person's eyes and then drops the match on the ground and just pours the alcohol over it.
The question is, does it set flame? Or do you put the match out?
Mm-hmm.
What role would possibly cover that? I'm going to give you a single composure roll.
Okay.
If in this moment you can hold it together and pour the alcohol correctly, and you do have one communal point that you could use after this, but the alcohol pours on the match, make that composure check, and if you succeed, you will start a fire.
I don't know if I could make tools work into my composure at all because I am working
Not in
with
this
things.
moment, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Let me make sure that I don't have anything added that I don't need added. There we go.
You have one communal point, which could turn this into a wash, which means that the match won't be put out. But as the alcohol pours, it doesn't set a flame yet. What would you like to do if the communal points are? We don't have a communal point. I'm sorry, it is gone. It's been used. You don't have a communal point. You have 1 degree of failure. The match sputters out and is extinguished, Kelly, as you are pulled down to the ground as this bearded man looks you in the eyes, holding a hand over your mouth. Hush, child. Don't worry. You're in the arms of the prophet. We will see that your soul is not wasted, and that you find rebirth in these growing dark lands. And as the life begins leaving you, Kelly, you hear small footfall near you on the wood as Elizabeth appears, soaking wet, looking at you, smiling down at you. And then you die. Alonzo, You splice together the phone, the wire. You carefully piece it together. You have a dial tone. Who do you call?
I could call the police. And not that we're going into that area, but it's very highly unlikely that they'll believe me.
You could
in
call
this
family.
situation. I could call family, but I don't want to worry them if something goes wrong. I call the one place, the one person that I believe would pick up at this point, because they're probably overworking themselves. I call the Department of Medicine at Morehouse, specifically the department where I am from, knowing that my professor is probably going to answer.
Hello? Who? Do you know what time it is? I mean, it's late.
Listen
it is
to me.
Very late.
Listen to me. This is Alonzo.
Alonzo?
I am in Pittsburgh right now, where I'm from. There's something going on. I would have called anyone else, but I know you'll believe me. We've been researching everything and trying to teach us about viruses and pathogens and all this. There's something in Pittsburgh right now, and I might not be alive after this phone call.
Alonzo, where are you? This is very serious. If it was anyone else, I would think this was a joke.
I am looking at I don't know. I am looking at 2 of my dead friends right now. There is something going on. Get word out. Get to Pittsburgh now.
Give me a name of the road you were on. Tell me what city you were near. Outside of Pittsburgh?
Gray Ridge. We were at a camping site. We got off track.
The phone line goes dead. You hear something above. It's the sound of the wire being pulled off the wall from above. The stairwell creaks as a massive figure starts walking down, blocking the light out. Alonzo, the only way out of here is deeper into the basement. What do you do?
There's nothing around me on the table, anything like that I can just grab.
You can grab a hand scythe.
I'll grab it. No.
A rusted old farming hand scythe is in your hand as you grab it. What do you do?
I guess I gotta be Frodo going to the mountain, right? And I'm gonna go down.
You start running through the broken passages of this basement. They turn into rough-hewn walls of earth, and you realize that you're no longer in the house, but you're inside of some sort of sprawling complex under the ground. Roots and other rough rock hang here. It's soaking wet as rivers of water and filth begin filling the area as you push yourself forward. An enormous figure is following after you, and you push out into what looks like an abandoned mine shaft. The figure continues to follow you. And you take one step, and you feel the boards breaking underneath you. as you plunge into darkness. And that is where we're going to end our story tonight.